Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Welcome to episode 284 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Though that may be temporary because we are testing something today. Things were going well, but here we go. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lord Cognito. But who's this beside us? Who do we see here?
We see this enigma. The enigma, man. I'm happy to see him, man. We got a chance to hang with this gentleman for extended time, more than I normally do it. I'm usually moving and shaking at Summer Games Fest, but I got my hug and I took a picture with this gentleman. And
Challenge fate.
They would hug before showcase. You taking a picture with this gentleman? I said, yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I still love him regardless.
Yes. And that gentleman is Sir Bradley Ellis, the man who has been claimed to bring the curse to Xbox. As we discussed for weeks, we said we will test Brad out after the showcase. We had to make sure things went our way. Now, COG did betray protocol, so there is that. I mean, we technically already tested. We already flirted. But Brad, in all seriousness, welcome back, dude. Good to see you. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Great to be here. Happy to be here. I've earned quite a few nicknames over the past couple, I don't know, what it's been like a year since, I don't know. It's been a while. Anyways, the newest one is the Green Reaper. So
I like that.
So that's where it's at right now. But yeah, we got to put it to the test. Do I still have the bad jujube? I don't know. We got to find out.
For all our new listeners, Brad just happened to guest on every episode where Xbox was stepping on not just a rake, but the most massive of rakes. So that is your history on why we're tempting fate a little bit. Like usually it's like, oh, we had a good episode. What happens after? So we'll see. But I don't know, man. Things are looking pretty up right now.
Yeah.
Looking pretty up. Can we destroy the momentum? We'll find out. Gentlemen, it was Summer Games Fest week. It was Xbox Showcase week. It was State of Play week. We got a Nintendo Direct under our belts. We got a lot to talk about. And I have a question actually for myself that I wanted to open us up with a little bit, just to get the blood pumping a bit here. I want to talk to you guys about your favorite games this week. Just what you saw that stood out to you. I feel like, COG, you and I jumped right into the showcase. Brad, we haven't had a chance to talk. I felt like this was just an amazing week, dude. Like, it really was so fun. I felt something for everyone. I felt like everyone won. I don't know how you walk out of this going, gaming sucks or gaming's dying or whatever. I feel like just what a great time. And I feel like I would regret it if we didn't just sit down and just talk about everything. We don't have to do a full showcase recap of each, but just what were your favorite games this week? I mean, Cog, I only had a little bit of time to talk to you. We barely broke bread over Last Ronin, but I want to know, like, from all the showcases, all four of them, what stood out to you the most? Doesn't have to be a singular game. Could be a list, a bunch of bullet points, whatever you got for us.
Man, like you said it best. What a week for games, right? It just felt like there was something for everyone. I gotta admit, Jeff Keighley set it off for me, bro. Like, I'm sitting there, what a start. And I don't want to go through like bar for bar with everything in his show, but Veronica coming back meant a lot to me. As a Dreamcast guy, seeing that game and knowing so many people never experienced that game, until later, and to see such the glow up, super excited about that. That was dope. And then obviously I got a chance to talk with some of the Capcom developers who are behind the scenes working on it and getting that fine line between adding something new and then obviously retaining the essence of the original. And Capcom's on a generational heater right now. We don't even need to go into that. But then you came to mind, and I'm in that theater, Summer Game Fest, and when that last Ronin trailer hit, and I'm seeing Platinum Games, I'm hearing the theme of the Ninja Turtle music, and I'm like, bro, it's happening with our dream collabo. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Couple that with the fact that it's platinum, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the Kaosan, if I had to guess. And the Kaosan is the one that I told you guys when I went to Japan to see Ninja Gaiden 4. I was like, everybody in here is so young. I'm like, this team is, it was a completely new team. This is minus, the Kaguya era. But I was like, this kid, he gets it. Because I remember he was like, he was the one behind the Ninja Gaiden 2. Yeah, Black remake. He understood the assignment, the spirit of it. And I'm like, watching him. This guy, I even feel like you catching somebody early before they get to become a superstar developer. That's my little number one draft pick with the Kyle side. And I think the third one for me, and me and Brad talked about it at Summer Game Fest, was it's got to be Final Fantasy, man, Revelation, man, the feels. And I'm a huge Vincent fan. To see him and the abilities and things he can do and stuff like that. Obviously, we talked about the Xbox Showcase, and I love the stuff there. We'll talk about Fable. Oh my God, we saw it today. But it's so much, bro. It's so much. It just felt like a great week for gaming. Those are about 4 to 5 highlights off top that really, really stood out. Of course, Gears ED. I got my Cog shirt on.
Oh, nice. Cog with the Cog.
Cog with the Cog, you know what I'm saying? So it's good to see them try to get back to form. But that's mostly it. I mean, there's still a ton more. Oh, one shout out. I got to say this one. And Brad, I told you this before as a person. Out of everything I see and experienced, let's just say experienced, I got to shout out my draft pick, NetEase 24 Entertainment, Blood Message. Listen, if what we played is indicative of what that game is going to be, we had a great 30 minute playable. 30 seconds. Oh my God, I was excited.
You played a TikTok.
30-minute demo. And we sat there and was like, everyone is on, including Cat Car. Y'all know how I love Arthur Busher. Everyone is on notice. This is their first AAA big budget game. Remember, they had the Rocket Blade Point. They took their hand at a Battle Royale. They did Marvel Rivals. They took their hand at the squad-based team shooter without Overwatch type stuff. This right here, them with their cinematic storytelling experience, visceral chef's kiss. If they land that plane, they're gonna be in the conversation. Yeah,
okay. Sure. Brad, you were also on the scene, playing games, moving, shaking, bacon. What stood out to you, my friend?
So this week we got to see my top 3 favorite gaming franchises reveal themselves again. Of course, Final Fantasy VII Revelations. I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan already, and for how much they showed of that game, I was surprised. That was like a long demo, like with several cuts, like 4 separate cuts going on there.
Looks awesome. To believe it might be coming out this year for a moment. I was like, they're really going in.
Showing a lot of that game. So that is one of them. Number 2 is we got Zelda with Ocarina of Time remake, which we knew was pretty much coming, but it was nice to see it actually confirmed. I wish we actually got to see the game in action.
Yeah, strange choice, I thought.
Yeah, they were like, we'll talk about it later. It comes out this year, but we'll talk about it later. I was like, Nintendo. Yeah. But I get it. So I'm very excited about that. And out of nowhere, Kingdom Hearts 4 just shows up at a Nintendo Direct. Out of all the places, Nintendo Direct, it's been gone for 4 years. We haven't seen anything, but we see it now, finally. I'm very excited, of course. So those are like, if From Software showed more than just characters aura farming for the Duskbloods, that might have set it over the edge.
Yeah, that was a really strange one. I mean, they kind of did a similar thing with Elden Ring where they're like, we're back. And it's as you described perfectly, it's just characters aura farming. Not really much to go off of. You're like, this is the world again.
Yeah,
like,
no combat, nothing.
I was sold on the world for Duskbloods. I just want to know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to see it run. I mean, they're doing a closed network test, which is cool this year. And they're reiterating it's still coming out this year. But I'm just like, man, you've been gone for a year, almost over a year. That's what you show us when you come back. Yeah. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's neat. And got to play Onimusha, which I'm a huge Onimusha fan already.
It was like an hour demo, right?
No, not quite an hour. I don't remember how long they gave us to play, but
30.
It was a healthy amount, yeah. And
nice.
Just solidifying my confidence in Capcom again. So I was very excited about that. But yeah, awesome week for me. So much good shit.
I feel that, bro. I mean, down to the dying moments of the Nintendo Direct. Just like I overslept that one. I was so tired, bro. I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I know it actually compared to other directs, it wasn't that early, but I was just like, I can't do this again.
Yeah.
I need to sleep. I woke up to like 300 messages. I was like, oh, wow. It's good. It's a good feeling when that happens. Because you're like, oh, something crazy just happened, bro. Like, there's no way no one hits me up when like a bad showcase happens on that level. I'm like, oh man. The one thing that scared the life out of me is like, oh wait, Fallout 3 remaster. Like, what if that was there? Fortunately, we dodged the bullet.
Yep, dodge it.
Yeah, dude, just like great announcements all around. I was looking at a list here. I made it when I was talking a lot because I was just trying to get my head straight on like everything I wanted to play. And really starting in July all the way to the middle of August, there's just something like almost every few weeks. It's really exciting. Few standouts for me. I'll start with the easy one. I thought Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen.
Oh, dude, I thought of you immediately when I saw that.
Yeah, God, so happy because I mean I really liked base Dragon's Dogma 2, but you know this is obviously going to be the definitive version. Probably make me feel foolish for even liking the original in the first place. Like I haven't touched the original Dragon's Dogma in forever. I only played the first Dark Arisen on my Switch. Like so, I'm really keen for this one. The new snow biome looks amazing. New abilities look really good. They're also targeting a lot of the issues people had. Like you can now tune the dragon's plague. You know, these quality of life problems they had out the gate. So that looked just really great. Dude, I might be back on Fire Emblem. Kind of snuck up on me. Yeah. I love Fire Emblem, but like there's a level of seriousness. By the way, I should make one thing very clear. I am judging a book by its cover. I don't know how serious Engage is. I just look at the character designs and I'm like, I can't take you seriously. And I am very open-minded with that stuff, but I can't take you seriously. Three Houses was really good, but I kind of felt like they were trying to be someone they're not, kind of like Persona, where like that was the wave and they were kind of following that up. Fortune's Weave looks more like between character design, their focus, the setting, the plot. I'm like, this looks more like what I'm looking for. Problem is, it's launching the same exact day as Trails in the Sky second chapter. So
that's your baby. That's your baby. Yeah, it's tough for you.
Star Wars Zero Company looks like exactly what I want, bro. Like exactly. Well, seeing all the customizable squads, I was like, I can recreate the Republic Commandos. Great. Like, yep, that's like the least original thing you could do with this game, probably. But like, I can do that. That's what I want to do. Awesome. The games list is just endless. Speaking of Star Wars, Galactic Racer.
Looks great. Yeah,
looks great.
Literally Burnout meets Star Wars, but they also had, as Cog would say, they had the audacity to have a narrative.
What's with these racing and playing games having narratives?
Clutch looks great too, bro. It made me feel. I will say this: I wasn't like I say critical. I mean, it sounds a little over exaggerated, but like I said with Forza Horizon 6, I'm like they could have done something with a story at this point, you know, because it's kind of running back a lot of other ideas. But here comes Clutch and here comes Star Wars Galactic Racer back to back in like the same week. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people try to tell me I was crazy, and I'm not. Like these racing games need a little narrative. They need a little juice. They need a little investment. Clutch is going for something different though. That looks like they're going for emotion. Kind of made me want to try it. I don't know if I'll actually make the time for it, but I was like, oh, imagine I like walk out of this and I feel something. That'd be amazing. Let's see. Anything else on my list? Valor Mortis. That was really good. And then, last one. Probably the one I'm most looking forward to now. Final Fantasy Resonance. I mean, dude.
It's
anything HD2D I play this month, I'm going to be treated to another great one, Adventures of Elliot. Can't wait. But like Final Fantasy Resonance, I don't care if it's just a remake of Brave Exvius. I don't know shit about that mobile game. They remade Octopath Traveler 0 through the Octopath mobile game, and that was awesome. So I'm for it, but also just like the cinematics, the animation, like they have leveled up completely. They never pushed it that far. So very, very excited to see what that game's like. And that's right at the end of October 22nd. So I look at this list of games. I have like over a dozen on my list, and I'm just like kind of flirting with this idea right now where, and by the way, I'm not saying it like it's going to happen, but I'm like, I got to entertain it a little bit. Just looking at this list and I'm like, I could play all of these or could just like jam in what I can and then jump to GTA. But when GTA comes out, presumably nothing really of note, of consequence would be dropping for the next 2 months. You'd have to think, right? November, December, wide open. Everyone jammed it in August to October. So you skip that, you get 2 free months to just hit everything else here. I mean, you're missing out on one of the biggest games ever, but also you get to hit all these other things. I will not make a decision until I see way more of GTA 6 because I'm very curious. But I'm just flirting with that idea a little bit, romanticizing a little bit. I'm like, oh, complete and utter control of all these games on my backlog with nothing to get in the way. We always talk about, why doesn't the industry just stop? Here comes the roadblock. It's right there. Rockstar's got it. I don't know. People are going to call me crazy. I know I'm going to get judged for this take. My friends gave me so much shit for it, but I don't know, man. It was something that I was flirting with. Speaking of which, though, I'd like to bring that into the conversation here. So we got a write in here from the One. And if anyone wants to write in, you go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. You can get early ad-free access to our episodes for Define Duke every Thursday. He writes, "Hi, Dukes. Are game companies giving GTA 6 too much runway? Onimusha, Wolverine, Blood of the Dawnwalker, Gears, Control, Dawn of War, Trails in the Sky second chapter, and Silent Hill are all coming out in September or early October now. Even Fable got delayed to next year. All this to avoid one game. I feel like they are shooting themselves in the foot. They now have to compete against many big games instead of one. Is GTA 6 really going to take up that much air from other big game releases? I know 80% of the population will get this game, but will they be the gamers that don't give a shit? But there will be gamers that don't give a shit about GTA 6, especially PC and Switch owners. I remember when Rand said on Duke, according to his sources, the end of October, all of November and December belonged to Rockstar just to get out of the blast zone. I'm starting to agree with Maddie. Game companies need to stop being so scared. Well, I don't know if I said it like this. Game companies need to stop being so scared of GTA 6. I'm not out there telling them to take all their hundreds of millions of dollars and be like, yo, stand up for yourself, bro. Like, that's I want to clear that up, Juan. We'll discuss. But he says, I think they're giving too much power for this one game. So just on that note, guys, you were dead silent when I was proposing my idea, just silently nodding your heads. Cog, I felt a little quiet judgment from you. Brad, you too. Come on, let's hear it, guys. What is this a threat? Is it over exaggerated? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Stroke your eyebrow.
No, I don't think it's over exaggerated at all. I think people are underestimating still how big Grand Theft Auto is going to be. Still, this game is going to blow the fuck out of everybody without question for a while. Now, I think it's very funny that all these games suddenly got announced for September, because I know a lot of them are like, oh, fuck. We're releasing next to all these games now. So I wouldn't be surprised if some get moved to October or like early November, perhaps. I think maybe if you come out 2 weeks before GTA, you might be okay. But after that, you're going to be done for a month, maybe, or at least a couple weeks. At least 2 weeks, it's going to dominate completely. But yeah, maybe you could slip in December, but I think people are... When this game is close to coming out, like actually close, people are going to be losing their fucking minds about this game. Everyone's going to be talking
about like what crimes will be committed for this game.
Yeah,
for people.
I mean, think about it. Like people were like going up on Jeff Keighley's show out of nowhere, going rogue, being like, "Where's GTA?" Like people were freaking out. It's like a weird plague that takes over, like the T virus infects them or something. They just go nuts about Grand Theft Auto. And when Grand Theft Auto is like a week away, it's going to be insane how popular that game is going to be taking over. Like Maddie's saying like, oh, maybe he's like toying with the idea of playing these other games. I'm like, nah, dude. You're going to be playing GTA day one. We all are. It's going to get everybody without question. It's going to be that big of a game. Because like, once we see another trailer of that game as well and get like a better idea of that game, I think it's going to blow everyone away again.
Yeah, that's what I got on board with GTA 5 is when I saw the heist. That's when I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I really want to play that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm looking at GTA 6 now like I don't want to play it, to be clear. But just more like...
Oh, I know. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind
really too.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Yeah, no, good call. It's this is the boogeyman. Like when you speak to the developers face to face, they have no problem telling me, oh yeah, we're running from that. Like we don't want no smoke. It's literally to me the equivalent of everyone knows when the nuke is about to hit, the blast radius is set, and it's okay, we're gonna all scurry down into this September bunker, and we're willing to cannibalize ourselves to get away from that.
It's kind of like Fallout, you know?
Yeah, it's literally Fallout.
Here comes the nukes.
Here comes the nukes. We know when it's coming now, and now it's real, right? So now it's like, okay, we've got. Once I see Xbox say, all right, they drop it. It's November. Okay, Fable February. Xbox knew. They was like, we and to their credit, get out of the September. We'll rather fight whoever it is in February. We don't care who it is in February, because February is like the new November these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once I saw that, and then it's a double nuke, because you've got not only the amazing Rockstar, the makers of Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA, like, then you got this multiplayer component that'll have its own window. And here's what I knew GTA was on another level. All during this week, the predictions were, whose showcase might it appear in? We're at the point now, GTA is bigger than the industry. Oh, we don't have to be on a state of the play. We don't even have to be at Summer Games Fest. Yeah. We don't have to. Xbox could throw enough money at us. Nintendo, you neither. Well, you're not coming to Nintendo right now, but you know what I'm saying? For later. But at the end of the day, it's like, we will set the narrative on our own and let you know we're bigger than the industry. We sell console. We have people waiting to get next generation, current generation consoles when this game comes out. That's what I knew, bro. They're operating on a whole different level. Rockstar is they're their namesake for real. And yeah, they will control the industry. But to your point, Maddie, you're speaking from my perspective. I actually do agree from a content creator's perspective. You're like, bro, there's so many dope games I could take care of. And like Brad said, it's out of sight, out of mind. So you're like, man, I can use this time to knock out all this fire in September. You know what I'm saying? And get to GTA. I feel you. Trust me. It's not going to hit into what Brad said. When we see it, because out of sight, of the mind, it feels like whatever. Till we see it, we go, oh, damn, yeah. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta be part of that conversation for the most part. But yeah, it's amazing to see how many people I've talked to and had no shame telling me we are moving heaven and earth to get away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I to clarify what Juan has said, because he said, I think I'm giving it that game should stop being scared. What I've tried to say is I do bemoan GTA 6 in a very specific way, like Fable. As we'll talk about extensively with Fable in a little bit. After that trailer, I was like, can you imagine if this shit was coming out this November? You see Jack of Blaze, you're like, oh my God, dude, like, come on. And then that 30 minutes of gameplay, I was like, come on, dude. Like, it sucks. Like, that's what I'm more so talking about is like, I like wish they weren't, but it's not like I'm saying that they are wrong for making the jump, especially in Fable's case. It's like, that shit needs to make money. That like they have spent too long on it. All these games do. I just find the choice to like cannibalize each other very interesting. January even, March even.
I know.
Like February's just become this hotspot where it's already 4 big games there.
It is interesting that January is not. I wonder if it's like some type of fiscal. Late.
Everyone's money is spent. You get it.
Yeah, I guess
like usually end of January. You usually see a little something.
It's a good call out.
But I don't think the threat's over exaggerated. It's just like I just hope it releases because I want to see everything spread out once more. All 12 months get used here.
I agree.
I think some games can be successful around GTA time if they do it. Like I think Zelda could be successful Ocarina of Time. I'm not saying it's gonna be like the biggest game ever, but I mean especially for Nintendo because they don't even have GTA, so it's not really an option for them anyways right now.
How close do you think they touch November like first, or are you thinking they come after? I think no one goes after.
I think they could do earlier November. Like the first 2 weeks after GTA, I think might be a bad idea. Maybe. I don't know. It's Nintendo, so who knows what they're going to do. Maybe they just don't give a fuck. Maybe they'll do the same day. Who knows? Which will greatly annoy me. But because I want to play both. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I'd play. Here's what I would do if they did do that. Ocarina of Time of the day, GTA at night. That's what I would do. Have to do it by the sunlight. That's the only plan I got. But yeah, GTA is a beast. And I don't think anyone should underestimate it, ever.
Right on. Sticking with the games that we saw, wanted to have a debate about originality. We got 2 write-ins here. Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, writes, Dear Dukes of Wonder, watching the showcase, I realized something. The paradox of going original. Let me explain. When watching PlayStation Showcase, I left underwhelmed. It was Wolverine, which looked like Spider-Man, or Last of Us with claws, and God of War Laufey, which looks like to have used the exact same formula as the recent God of War games down to the companions. So as I said, I left underwhelmed because nothing looked new. Then on to Xbox's showcase. After years of doing original stuff, Gears of War 5 having open world concepts, and Doom the Dark Ages changing their formula, I wanted what originally made me fall in love with Xbox games, and boy, did Gears of War EA deliver with that old, familiar feel and darker setting. Dukes, how can I on one hand punish Sony for not doing anything original, but applaud Xbox for going back to the original formula? Should I try to be this rational, or is it all about my feels? Have an exclusive day, Dukes. Meanwhile, Dan Excel takes me to task here. Most likes on a comment I've ever seen on a Duke thread. I think I had 15 likes on it. I was like, whoa. It's good writing. Says Maddie, it's time to come to the front of the congregation. I want to preface this by saying that I love listening to DD. Mr. Maddie plays ILP, and I've been doing so for years. By the way, for those of you guys who know, like, usually your writings can tell like a respect level. So I don't want you guys, if you ever feel like you're being critical of us, you don't have to like preface it by letting us know, how much you love what we do. Like we definitely can read.
Tell me though. You can tell me though. I need the love.
Okay.
I get attacked. I need it once in a while. So Cog says it's fine for him.
I just appreciate the sensitivity to the matter. I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable. Like you can't say anything to us. So
fair. Good call.
Please don't misinterpret my criticism as a bad faith argument, but I think you should reconsider how you approach upcoming and unreleased games. Last week, I listened to your post-game analysis of the state of play as I normally do, and you were specifically harsh on modern PlayStation games like God of War Laufey and Wolverine. If I recall correctly, you mentioned how these games are starting to blend together for you and how this was a problem because it showed a lack of creativity and innovation. However, I think this is extremely reductive and unhelpful to gaming discourse because it ignores the reality that the vast majority of modern game releases are indeed just iterative and formulaic. Firstly, I'd argue there is nothing wrong with a game feeling or looking familiar, especially if it's part of a popular and long-running series. In the case of God of War Laufey, it's the third entry in the Norse saga, so I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect that the game upholds a certain level of continuity while offering smaller iterations like a different protagonist or other combat changes. In the case of Xbox, people like me are excited about Gears of War E-Day, but come on, we all knew that E-Day was going to be before the recent reveal. I also know how the next Resident Evil will play and feel like, and the same could be said for the next Yakuza, Octopath Traveler, Wolfenstein, Persona, Trails, Fallout, and Forza Horizon games. How dare you use all of my babies? More games are derivative and just build off of what they've done previously, and that's okay. Very few games manage to push the medium forward, but that shouldn't be the standard simply because it's unfair and wrongly set expectations. We can and should look at other aspects to determine a game's quality. Is the writing sophisticated? Are the characters compelling? Is the game fun to play? What iterations do exist that move the series forward? Did the game execute on its vision? Asking these questions allows each game to stand on its own two legs, which is a lot fairer than grouping together a variety of games simply because they look the same. Lastly, I think it's important to acknowledge that franchise fatigue or genre fatigue or franchise just isn't for you anymore, and this could simply be the case. I'm just asking you to re-examine why you haven't played two highly respected sequels like Ghost of Yotei or God of War Ragnarok, but why you're willing to give other long-running entries a try, such as Resident Evil 9. Could it be possible that you are judging a whole subset of games prematurely by labeling them as formulaic? Could it be that your tastes have simply changed and it isn't the quality of games that have suffered? Anyways, I've rambled enough. Apologies for the long write-in, and I'll always be a listener. So I'll tackle that in a little bit. I appreciate the write-in, Dan. Very thoughtful. Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk about originality and sort of what you guys saw from this showcase, because I thought it was interesting to see what Mr. Scott is, if you're nasty, wrote sort of about like, hey, I'm like, he was kind of in my position, like, oh, I walked out of State of Play. I was like, it was all right. For the most part, I found it kind of disappointing. But then I walked out of Xbox Showcase like, oh yeah, sweet. But Xbox Showcase was playing a little bit more to returning to the originals in something like a Gears of War. So for you guys, when it comes to originality of franchises, how much are you looking for that? Like when I saw Clockwork Revolution, it's a new IP, but there's a lot there that reminds me of Bethesda games, Obsidian games. It's, if you will, derivative, not in a negative way, but it's familiar. But the main gimmick there is time travel. And that's what's got my brain going everywhere, because I'm like, oh, In Exile, Choice and Consequence, now adding in time. There's so many more ways this could branch. That's where my head goes. But I'm curious for you guys what the difference between original and comfort is. Brad, I'd love to get your thoughts first.
I think yeah, a lot of games are formulaic, and I'm totally cool with that, honestly. Because like he brought up Resident Evil is a great example. Like they've been pumping fucking Resident Evil games out like crazy amount, and I still love them. I still get excited about them. But on the other hand, like Yakuza games, I'm like pretty fatigued on just because, and I'm not saying it's like one's better than the other or anything like that. It's just a personal taste kind of thing like that. And I think that's exactly what it is for you, Maddie. In terms of Wolverine and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, and you're judging the game based off what you've seen. The game's not out yet, so like maybe you could play the game when it comes out or something and be like, oh, this is actually awesome. Opinions could change at the drop of a hat with a brand new trailer, brand new peak. So I like when people are like, yeah, it's not really for me. I'm not getting excited about a lot of this stuff or whatever. It's like, okay, that's totally fine. You're just judging what you saw off the game and not the finished product. I do think, like, I think Ghost of Yote he brought up is a great example of it is like a more of the same kind of thing, but it's just more refined and it just depends what you resonate with. So I'm totally okay with someone just being like, I like these things, even though they're similar to past entries, but these ones just don't do it for me. And I think that's completely fair.
Mm.
Yeah.
How about you?
Fried cooking. Literally was going to say exactly what I was going to say. But yeah, I think derivative is fine. I think what it is with me, and maybe you can relate to this, Maddie, is that I love yes, I love when the gaming industry and companies push the genre forward and you see something you've never seen before. But I also understand the rarity of that because of how many people are competing in the game space, how many people are competing for your time, how many ideas have already been tackled. It's tough to always bring out a new idea. So a lot of times I'll look for the innovation in my little artsy fartsy and indie scene because I feel like they're more susceptible to giving me those type of newer experiences like, wow, that's cool. I've never really seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a copycat league from that point on, in my opinion. You know, everyone then sees a formula, tries to add on it. Now, as far as the genres and the subgenres, and as far as like the franchises and the formulaic nature of stuff, you know, that is something where I consider it comfort food. We all got all these different meals,
Mm-hmm.
all these different things, and there's certain things that we, no matter if they just do the same thing over and over again, you know, I'm gonna love it. Like I'm an XCOM guy. You give me turn based, you give me base building. That's home for me. That's comfort. It's strategy layer. It's and then you know as far as like shooting games and MMOs, if you give me build crafting, you give me all these different things. I'm gonna love you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things now. There's certain other genres where I'm like, you know, Souls not as much or RTS not as much. But if you do something creative or new in that space, then I'm more willing to kind of give it a shot and I won't penalize it. Oh, it's formulaic, it's just so, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So it's personal taste. And there's really nothing wrong with it. And the last thing I will say that I love that was mentioned is that as I've gotten older, my tastes have changed. There's certain genres that I used to love and I've fallen out of it. I'm like, here we go again. And I think where me and you share, Maddie, is what I would remember the hashtag just one in the beginning. Oh my Lord, give me one of those third person over the shoulder cinematic narrative, high graphical fidelity experiences. PlayStation 4 era, I was like, this is the way. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But after you get too much, you get for me, I got a little gluttonous with it. I'm like, do I have to eat one again? Like, this is the same kind of thing. And not that they're bad games. I just know my tastes currently have fallen out of love. And now I'll go to like the Geico Generation 2, car-based deck builder, no real graphical fidelity pick. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. It's just where you're at as a gamer, and there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that ebbs and flows, totally the taste thing. Like
totally.
I'm at the point where I'm like kind of sick of roguelites and stuff like that because there's so many, but they're great games, but just like you go through phases. And I think that's completely healthy and normal, and you shouldn't feel bad about it if you just don't want to play something.
No, to be clear, I definitely don't feel bad about my take. I made the video knowing I'm like, this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but like also, I mean, this is the age we live in. Like, be honest with us, bro. Like, what, you're not gonna lie to us? And it's like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, and then you get like fucking shafted. But it's like, I totally get the response. I think the only thing I could do at this point is play games like God of War Ragnarok or Ghost of Yote, removing my bias and just having an interesting conversation, revisiting what I talked about, because a lot of what Dan XL wrote was addressed in the video. Like I literally do mention in the video how like I understand my taste a lot better now, as in kind of what Cog said, like all PS4 gen, like you give me those just one games and I'm all over them. I'm here talking about fatigue of something I'm seeing, which I'll break down in a moment. But look, dude, one of my favorite games of all time is New Vegas, one of the most derivative fucking video games ever made that just literally built off all the bones of Fallout 3. Like, it's an amazing video game. But let's not kid ourselves. Like it was a rehash of what already existed in a new setting. That stuff can be great. I think one of the factors is development time.
Mhm.
I think when you're heavily derivative, 5, 6 years, I don't know, that doesn't really excite me. That doesn't. I don't get pumped when I'm like, you're back, and it's the same fucking thing. And it's like half a decade's gone by. That's game development. That's tough. And that's why I acknowledge, like, look, this is a taste thing at the end of the day. There's going to be people who see it and they're like, fuck yeah. Just like I would see a first person RPG like Clockwork and be like, oh, they spent 7 years on it. I could tell. It looks fucking amazing. Like, so again, it does purely come down to taste and preference and knowing what I do like. But on the PlayStation front, and I know comment section is going to jump me, bro. But again, I like to have the conversation with you boys. For me, what was happening when I walked out of the state of play is the same thing that kept me away from like God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Yotei was kind of like happening here as well, where it's like, it's not even just, oh, I saw camera position bad. Because none of these games are bad or look bad. It just doesn't interest me. Like I had to play that because the way it's shot, now the way gameplay mechanics are working, they all have a buddy character. They all have co-op attacks now. You're starting to see some sort of mechanical overlapping on top of the presentation. And I'd be lying to everyone if I said it didn't feel very factory made to me. Like there's an assembly line and here are your first party studios and they're all kind of talking about the same things and making the same style games. And one of the main driving forces for my excitement with Wolverine is not because of like, oh my God, they're doing something different. It's because it plays entirely into my nostalgia of an old Wolverine game I played that was a tie-in movie game, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Amazing game. But that's what drives a lot of my interest there. Not because I saw something new. That doesn't necessarily always have to be the case, though. I'm definitely not the game reviewer. If anyone's watched my content, and Dan XL, I know you do, but I'm saying generally speaking, if anyone watches, they know I'm not always like beating the war drum. Like you got to bring something new. Like I do think though that for this third person over the shoulder genre, like there's a reason Pragmata is my game of the year. Like, yeah, it's third person over the shoulder. It also has a fucking crazy sick hacking mini game and like a totally refreshing new way of playing it. Like that's what I'm hoping for. If you're going to spend a lot of time in development and you're going to bring a just one approach to your game, it's like, okay, fine. Clearly that game for me was a little bit relieving because I was like, maybe I'm not super burnt on this style of presentation, but just rather how you play them and whatnot. So ultimately with the comments and stuff, I mean, I was just like, you know what? It'd be really interesting if I ever want to make the time for these games to pick up this conversation after playing and beating all three of them and kind of see where I stand on things. But um, to last thing that Dan said, much of your critiques about like how we should discuss an upcoming game, like is the writing sophisticated? That was one of my largest points about Lao Fei. The writing in that trailer is fucking awful. I hope the whole game's not like that, to be frank. So again, like that was probably the more majorly off-putting thing, that like Marvel thinking to yourself, quirky shit. I was into the new era of God of War, but I was like, this doesn't really light my fire. And if it does light your fire though, that's fine. But a lot of this was addressed, but I appreciate the feedback. And it's certainly something that like I'm totally happy to tackle with an open mind and revisit at a later date and kind of see where things go. But I mean, I'm gonna this is gonna sound fanboyish, but it's what drew me to Xbox in the first place. I don't like all their games. I don't like Hellblade or South of Midnight, but at least in the case of South of Midnight, like, it was very different
Right.
in its presentation and its look and what it was trying to do with stop motion, its story, its setting. I was like, okay, like that catches my interest a little bit more. So that's what kind of pulled me into the ecosystem in the first place to be hosting the show.
Yeah.
So
that's what PlayStation used to do more first party, but no one bought their games. So that's what happens.
It's a good call out. Yeah, it's a good call out. I think I remember, Batty, us being excited for, I think, the state of play prior to that one. It was very Japanese focused. It was smaller games. It was weird. It was quirky.
yeah.
And we were surprised by the reaction from the base that they didn't like it. You were like, man, we
Yeah.
love this, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So, but to Brad's point, yeah, it's a business, right? So people, have to do it. It's just genre and what you're into and what you fall in love with at the time. So yeah, I agree.
I think it's important to have small little things that are different in your catalog. Like Astrobot, it's a great example of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
Game of the
big
Year
one.
winner. Sold, I think, like a couple million, which is good, but that's not like what Sony wants, unfortunately. So they put out a few things here and there, and I think it's super important to do that because I don't want every game they do to be the same type. Like they technically put out Marathon, and I love Marathon. It's super different, but you know how that's going. It's not good.
That's good. Yeah,
it ain't good.
Especially with Destiny's out here beating Marathon. It's crazy.
Yeah, I understand the want of more different things. I remember like Concrete Genie, pretty different game at the time. Whatever game.
I think I'll also add in, because I know Mr. Scott was asking, like, why is it when I saw Gears of War E-Day and it was going back to basics while I was hyped for that, while kind of like bemoaning what PlayStation was doing. And I think what you're experiencing is what we felt for PS4, where when I saw God of War 2018, I was like, fuck yeah, like this is different, but it retains a lot of the spirit of that old God of War. But like, it's also a new type of Kratos. And like, that was old mixing with new. So what you saw with Gears of War E-Day, at least in my opinion, was like, here's the old tone, the gothic horror, here's that setting, here's that color grading, like those feelings that it gave you, but we're going to give you improved movement. We're going to let you like lie on the ground. We're going to let you mantle things. We're going to take the openness that we tried with Gears 5, which was much more like open landscapes and just driving to places, and instead put it into city space on foot, at least from what we've seen so far, just on foot, where it's like there's multiple levels to buildings. There's kind of that co-op driven level design. And like, I think that is why I would assume, gravitated to that, even though it was familiar. It was taking a lot of the design principles that define that series and using modern technology to evolve them, where it's still Gears, but it's hopefully better, bigger Gears. Again, not to say Lao Fei isn't that or anything like that, but I think that's why I felt this way. At least I was like, oh my God, they're going back to more co-op driven level design. Like that's what made Gears 1, 2, and 3 special. But now we're doing that on a next gen level where the levels can be bigger and more open and prettier. And just like that adds a lot to Gears, which is just driven by that so much in its best campaigns.
Yeah. And like, honestly, the last few Gears games haven't really done much for the fan base or gone in a direction a lot of people have liked, I would say. They had a ton like Judgment, and which was fine. Like the other Gears games were fine, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Judgment 4, 5, they're fine. But yeah, I guess like a lot of the old heads, the old Gears guys, this is looking more like the thing they kind of fell in love with originally. And it's been a long time. So I think that the excitement is totally well warranted. Like I personally can't wait to shoot a locust again. It's been a while, and those are some like the funnest enemies in gaming to kill. I love fighting locusts, so I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, man, bring back the horror, the terror, the fear. I just love it's the tone. It's back to the core spirit of what I felt it was, and I felt they got too Hollywood blockbustery, and they lost a lot of the balls. You know what I mean? To make tough decisions, and these are the conversations I had with Cliffy B, which was like, why he didn't resonate with 5 specifically with choices and stuff like that when you end it. And sometimes you got to do the hard thing and the tough thing, and I felt like the older games captured that spirit well, and it's a spirit thing. Yeah, you could say, hey, from a gameplay standpoint, it's not it's derivative, but they got the spirit back of why we fell in love with the first place. And I felt the franchise was kind of waiting and just doing solid, safer things as opposed to getting back to the core essence. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one, Brad.
Yeah. Right on. Good chat, gents. Let's keep this going here. Obviously, we know Xbox went back to console exclusives. They're talking about it as a case-by-case basis. So we got a couple write-ins about Asha Sharma thus far versus Phil Spencer. Always fun. Deuces Bro writes, hey guys, I don't want to kick a man while he's down, but didn't we always operate from the assumption that Phil Spencer was being forced to do the whole Microsoft gaming multi-platform bit? But instead, in less than 100 days, the 36-year-old first-time CEO just undoes it all. Does she somehow have more leverage than the career Xbox guy? Or is it time to actually entertain the idea that Phil was the problem all along? Have a Satya Nadella PR meat shield kind of day. Meanwhile, Claw117 writes, hey Dukes, Asha is doing a great job, but this is mostly because Microsoft lifted the 30% mandate. Had Phil and Sarah stayed, wouldn't they mostly be doing the same thing that Asha is doing? I won't defend everything about these two. They had plenty of screw-ups unrelated to the 30% mandate. Phil's studio management and Sarah's marketing decisions that were awful. They indeed should have left as they said they were, or I'm sorry, I misread that. They indeed should have left as they were too tied to Xbox's negative image that the 30% mandate just made it worse. But this idea that Phil and Sarah were flat out incompetent while Asha is some kind of genius is really weird to me. What do you think? Do you think people are being too harsh on Phil and Sarah while needlessly defending Asha and forgetting how much Microsoft's mandate was damaging Xbox? have a praise Gavin, no, praise Asha kind of day. Thanks to the show, by the way, and all that goes to Last Stand Media. The regular discussion spaces have become insufferable after the last weekend. The PlayStation Warriors are upset that Xbox is going exclusive again, while the Xbox Warriors are upset that more games, no matter how impractical, weren't pulled from PlayStation. Thank you guys for writing in. So, gentlemen, let's assess. Obviously, we're not going to totally line them up side by side. Asha's been there for, as written here, like over 100 days, and Phil was there for many years. Mm-hmm. But we are seeing her run in direct opposition of what's happening there. And one of the big questions we kind of had was like, okay, so we've been here before. We've done this whole case by case exclusives with Game Pass, and that didn't really seem to work. So is this Satya loosening and Asha being able to do more here, or what actually happened here? What actually changed, and is this worth believing in? Hog, let's start with you.
Yeah, very, very good question. Very nuanced discussion. I love this stuff, man. Let's give credit where credit is due. Asha's first 100 days have been phenomenal. Let's just give what credit is due. I like from her background standpoint, which is again player satisfaction, platform awareness and features, all the way from Instacart, Facebook Messenger. You could tell she, as a newcomer, she assesses the situation. She sees what can be done to kind of help fix the current market as a person who's a quote unquote outsider. But she's aggressive. She has a little bit of a maverick in her. And I like the accountability. I feel clear and concise messaging, which has always been a problem for Xbox back in the day. So one thing about me is I'm selfish. And all I care about is about the Xbox platform. This is my Maddie laugh. Uh-oh.
This is unfucking believable. I have to interrupt.
The new kid.
He saw it.
Unbelievable.
Oh, he did. He broke the curse. The layoffs went down.
I think, is this what you just said, Cog?
Yes, I said the purpose. Yeah. Breaking news. The next of the day. Let's just get to it. Let's just get to it. This is breaking. This is professional part. The curse of Brad Pitt. We was popping bottles early. Who got fired 100 days? Yo, Maddie jumped out the window. We thought we were safe, and here comes the Green Reaper. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Is that what happened? What's going on? Let's just break protocol. First 100 days, they look like Xbox Wire has just dropped a post, and it's by Asha. Maddie's laughing. He's beside himself. They're talking about the realities they need to investigate. One is over 100 billion players choose Xbox. Okay, that's fine. The second is about the fiscal accountability margin down year after year, excluding ABK. Over the past year, we've spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments on content platform and hardware subsidy, but our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. They talk about the hardware component crisis, about how much they paid is double twice as high as they did in the fall. And as we plan for the 2027 holiday season, we expect another significant increase, taking us over the 5 times the price we paid only 2 years ago. Memory costs have followed a broadly similar trajectory while the entire industry is facing a components crisis. We believe we have been impacted more greatly than many of our peers due to the choices we have made over the last half decade. We're currently unable to make as many consoles as players want to buy, and we need a new business model and partnerships for hardware as we remain committed to Helix. Are you cool with me reading this?
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Keep going.
Number 4.
I'm seeing if this Schreier report is included in the information you're reading. Please
okay, so I'm going to read this and then you tell me the Schreier, because I don't know. I'm completely ignorant of what's going on.
Go ahead. We're professional podcasting. Go ahead.
That's what we do. Number 4, we expanded our studio system. We needed a pipeline of content to meet multiple strategies across subscription, streaming, and devices. In the process, we have found ourselves overextended as we executed on changing strategies in the landscape of more readily available content. Okay, they're going to stewards. That seems like, okay. We need to, at the same time, at the showcase, we need to reassess the balance between these and our investment priorities over the next 5 years. All right. Number 5, our current platform infrastructure is not built for the battle ahead. Our systems are overly complex, spanning hundreds of dependencies, which hinders our ability to move fast. We've become too reliant on vendors to operate our systems and must become more self-reliant as an engineering culture to build for the future. We must increase the value as we ship to players while decreasing the time it takes to do so. Going forward, we will evolve and rebuild our stack and look at capabilities across Xbox and potential M&A, mergers and acquisitions, to help us win in hardware, PC, mobile, and streaming. For some of you, these realities will be surprising and even frustrating to discover. We won't succeed by hiding hard truths, nor will we succeed by doing the same thing and expecting different results. That's a bar. Like the everyday wins mentality from the first 100 days, we will sprint to make progress against hardware, content, experiences, services together. Xbox is one of the few places where people come not just to play, but to connect with others to create memories. While the console is at the center of how our showcase experience are defined, Windows is one of the largest platforms in the world and incredible games under our roof as one of the largest publishers in the world, and we have the foundations in place. Let's reset for a stronger Xbox and build the #1 gaming and entertainment company, signed Asha and Matt. So I'm going to assume this is a preemptive strike to something because Maddie is going crazy. So what
I
did
apologize.
Schreier say?
Yeah, my reaction was not because of what was there. I figured that was in the post, but Schreier
Yeah, this
posted.
seems like, what did Schreier say? What's going on? What's really happening?
Oh, man.
He wrote, Microsoft Corp's Xbox division is planning major layoffs next month, according to people. I should laugh, but yeah. According to people familiar with the company's strategy, the layoffs, the exact scale of which is not yet clear, are expected shortly after the close of Microsoft's fiscal year on June 30th, said the people who asked not to be identified because they're not authorized to speak to the press. Xbox is also planning to significantly slash budgets for marketing and some other areas of the business, the people said. A spokesperson for Xbox has declined to comment. I'm just going to read the full thing in case there's any other nuggets in here that Schreier has included. So bear with us, audience. This will be the first sweeping change under Asha Sharma, who became chief executive officer of Xbox in February. Sharma has spoken publicly about the organization's challenges, saying recently at Bloomberg Tech Conference that they planned on resetting the business, which was not in a healthy spot. In an email to employees on Wednesday, seen by Bloomberg, Sharma wrote that the business had plummeted to a 3% accountability margin, the metric Microsoft uses to reflect the profit margin. Excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years, we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investment into our content, platform, and hardware subsidy, but our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. She wrote, going forward, this cannot continue. Sharma added that Xbox would need to rebuild its platform infrastructure and rethink its portfolio in weeks and months to come. This is what you just read, right? Saying we expanded our studio system, pipelines. Yeah, okay. I'm just quickly looking over if there's anything else here. Sharma is looking to reverse course. On Sunday during a video presentation that showcased the company's slate of upcoming games. She announced that Gears of War, EA, and Clockwork would not come to PlayStation or Switch. In subsequent interviews, she and her executive team said they would handle future titles on a case-by-case basis. Sharma and her team also pulled a Halo trailer that was due to appear at the PlayStation event last week, potentially damaging the relationship between the two companies, according to people familiar with the change of plans. A return to exclusivity may excite diehard Xbox fans and improve prospects of the brand, but also it potentially means sacrificing a significant amount of revenue. The PlayStation 5 has sold more than 90 million units, while analysts estimate Xbox has sold roughly 1/3 of that. Sharma said at Bloomberg Tech that she's not under the same fiscal pressures from Microsoft as her predecessor. My mandate is not a 30% accountability margin. It's not enterprise software margins. It's to be the #1 gaming and entertainment companies. That's all we got. So yeah, confirmed layoffs.
Yeah, confirmed.
Xbox.
So was that what you read from? Because I now have the Bloomberg article from Jason.
Yeah, that's what I just read from.
That's what. Okay, I just want to make sure that was the same article that you was reading. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're caught up. So, Brad.
Oh,
your thoughts.
Well, your thoughts. Speak for yourself, Green.
First, sorry, everyone.
The timing.
I guess the curse is in fact real. We put it to the test today, and what do you know? We got it during the recording, so the curse is 100% real. Maybe I should take a year off from the show or something like that, and give the brand some time to build back up. Because
oh man,
if I'm on the show more, I don't know if that's good for the company.
I can't take it.
I just could not believe when I got the DM from my editor, and it just was literally like breaking. Xbox planning layoffs. I'm like, are you fucking Kong, I'm sorry I interrupted your bar, but I was like, are you fucking serious? Like this episode of all episodes after the showcase and everything, unbelievable. I don't know if I have thoughts. Just like, I mean, there's nothing to really, I guess, react to at the moment because we don't know. I mean, Schreier saying significant last time he said that. Like, we don't know if this is going to lead to studio closures and whatnot.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, like I said, I'm just still kind of collecting my thoughts. This is real time shit. I'm just like, that's all I got, everyone. I'm sorry. I just got That's all I got for you. Kyle, go ahead. Take it away.
Listen, this is the reality that sadly I felt was going to come, and they're too big. They're very big, right? So, especially now in a world where you are now reinvesting in the brand, you are now prioritizing exclusives. And the conversations I had, while I'm at Summer Games Fest was like, look, I'm a console guy. I like this attempt to do what you're doing. The problem is I understand the reality of the business. And the reality of the business is it's like that monkey sport situation we had with Rick. You're going to have to give up something if you're going to do this strategy. And the conversations I've had with multiple people was kind of like, okay, short-term loss for long-term gain and brand building, right? Now, the short-term loss is, Microsoft is a company, they're greedy. They want these games to be everywhere, and they want to make the most revenue in the short term. But if you truly care about building the brand and returning to exclusives, then you're going to sacrifice. And if you're going to sacrifice, that means the studios are not going to make all the money they anticipated. The Matt Booty studio family will be shortened when Gears of War is not everywhere, when, Clockwork Revolution is not everywhere, right? And we're in a hardware crisis. We're in a RAM crisis. All the things she's saying is accurate. You're getting in front of it. But when you put out a wire post like this is preparation for the nuke and the bad news that is about to happen. My only fear, and this is the one that I'm really concerned about. Me and you, Maddie, we've talked ad nauseum, the compulsions, the ninja theories, the studios that have had their Double Fine. The studios that have had their go, and now we say, that didn't really move the needle as much as we may have liked certain titles, the Kilns, right? South to Midnights, man, a lot of. So remember, we on the Emergency Duke that we did, we were happy to see Ninja Theory got a turn. They were able to go again.
Yeah, that's huge for them. That keeps them safe, I think. So.
That's an indicator, right? Undead Last. But all this is, I'm trying to say, this does not preclude the fact that even people who may get to go again, you may be slashed as far as your studio headcount. You may be slashed as far as employee headcount. Like this is what I'm worried about when you now implement the strategy that the hardcore fan base wants. There's a price to be paid for that. I am fully aware of it as long as you explain it. So, again, kudos to them getting in front of it. But that's what it is. All I just hope is studios survive. And that's going to be a difficult choice. I don't know what that is. I also am concerned about the big boys, which is the larger publishing houses, the ABKs, the Bethesdas, right? It cost a lot of money. Cost a lot, How well has Bethesda been doing? We just, we're off of the tango. They was able to get a home, Arcane, we know they, was it Austin? What's our good friend that, even though he made Redfall, but he was the Harvey, right?
Harvey Smith, yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we lost a luminary there. They're under reevaluation. The pressure from Call of Duty, even though it seems to be well received, right? How do they survive? What's Blizzard's been doing? Or remember, we just came off of ZeniMax with Matt Fuhr and that amazing MMO that we thought should have survived, didn't survive. This is something very impactful that's about to happen, and they're bracing us. And see, this is why, again, people call me, past regime apologist. This is where I'm going to judge you. I'm going to learn everything I need to know, because I knew this day is going to come when it's the layoffs and when you have to produce your own games and greenlight games and projects. Fable, all that's Phil.
What do you value, right? This speaks to what he's valuing. Yeah.
I want to know what you sign off on, right? And again, I'm not being disrespectful to them, but that's what I always judge a person's character when things go bad. How do you respond? How do you react? How do you try to rebuild, the confidence in the fan base? And this is a critical juncture for them. But I will say this last point. I respect this level of communicative honesty as opposed to, I'll be honest, in the past regime, sometimes going quiet, you know, just hoping it blows over, not talking about your hardware trash, and you all of a sudden you talk about fake inflated stats, how many cats were shot in the game, and Brad,
what an example.
35 million cats were trampled, and look, that's an indicative of how many people are playing. Nobody care about that. I will say, this is the most transparent. We can't operate this way,
right?
Kind of thing. So let's see. But damn it, Brad.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I will say this though. Out of all of the possible things, and no one is minimizing job loss, I thought it was going to be even worse. But then again, we don't know what worse is until we see it. So, oh boy, I tested fate.
Yeah, they're talking about like increased hardware prices and all that kind of stuff. I imagine that's going to affect Helix, and plans may change from what it was before. I don't know.
It's a good call. It's a good call.
Because they're saying they're affected more than their other like contemporaries and stuff, and that it'll be a different envisioned or thing for it. Yeah.
What you were about to say something? You said
I was going to say I think the smaller studios are probably panicking now. I imagine when Xbox owns a certain wealth of IP, like they probably looking at the Spyro announcement going, oh shit, like wow, people really care about that. Like,
right.
Should probably do a new Banjo game like people have been asking for a while. See what that does. Like there's more educated risks to be made, but when you own Call of Duty, you own Fallout, like you have these megatons.
Yeah.
I feel like, we already said those days of them kind of experimenting probably coming to a conclusion soon. Like you can even argue, I mean, I'm not saying in a complainer way at all, but Senua falling in line very quickly with like what the public demanded from them. Like that's kind of survivalist, dude. Like just, okay, got it. But really small teams under Xbox are probably a big threat right now. I mean, Asha did, I know they mentioned excluding Activision Blizzard King. Everyone else is seemingly doing pretty bad. I think Bethesda's once again going to get hit really hard. But also Asha just said about Activision, I don't know anybody in entertainment who wouldn't want Call of Duty, which is now grossing more revenue than the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who wouldn't want one of the top 3 apps in the world in Candy Crush, who wouldn't want World of Warcraft, who wouldn't want a team that for 20 years has been able to create predictable hits every single year. I love Activision Blizzard King. Look, it was bought at a time before ChatGPT. It was bought at a time when our strategy was predominantly on the core consoles. It was a time when we were right in the middle of COVID. So it's hard to say how to think about those decisions, but I think they are incredible assets and we continue to invest in them, because she was kind of asked about like if the merger itself is paying off. And so I wonder if they assess that. That's always been the thing that I've wondered, because while it's been the main moneymaker for them, it's continued to like, we think about the one time we saw their profits go up, like was when they bought Activision Blizzard King. So there is that worth considering. At the same time, this has put incredible pressure on the business, and I wonder if they target it in some way as well. Game Pass is another one. A lot of us left this showcase going, okay, here we are again, case by case exclusives and Game Pass existing, and these exclusives need to sell. She talked about frustrating changes. I imagine if you have long-term Persona 6 level day one Game Pass commitments in place that, these are things you will have to hold up with your partners. At the same time, I'm just like, I don't know if these two can coexist right now, as in not get rid of one completely, but fundamentally changing what it does. They talked about losing millions, as we'll talk about a little bit, millions of subscribers from the price hike. Like, it seems they're very focused on, instead of user acquisition, it's retention, keeping you here. It's a focus on what is holding you down on the platform now. And there's a million ways this can go. I don't want to guess too much, honestly, because it's just, again, like, it could be anything. It could just be hitting the same studios again. Like, okay, we don't need as many people as we thought for ZeniMax Online Studios because they're just making ESO now. Like, we've fired a bunch of people, we're gonna fire more people again. But it leading to studio shutdowns would suck, but it's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I think she
Yeah.
is literally this is the price that comes with, as we said, we did champion this part. This is the price that does come with someone not attached to the business. So I hope everyone's ready, myself included,
Exactly.
because I was like, I think Xbox needs something like this, but that means she's probably looking at like Double Fine was like, kill him, keep her, 20,000 combined players.
Mhm.
All right, like we can't keep spending X dollars on that. Like
Yeah.
I think there's a no love lost to this approach. And I'm
Mhm.
sure in this list of layoffs or whatever comes of it, there will at least be one shock factor for sure.
Yeah.
Because what we value as players, she said 3 different times I heard over this last weekend, just like, I'm not a gamer. So she got no love for these teams or anything. Like, at least, Phil, again, you could lean into the fact that this dude had his biases and that was shown in how he led. But
Mhm.
just start mentally preparing. I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
help, but
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a twist in this somewhere. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Last thing I'll say is that this is the difference with outsider versus being tied to a gamer stuff. It's a gift and a curse with it. The gift of it is that sometimes the outsider will be able to make the tough call that you can't, because there's no emotional attachment. However, the flip side is from a person who understands the games business and how games are made and the importance of franchises, certain things of that nature to be greenlit. There's an emotional cost that a hardcore gamer may lose because of a corporate decision. You know what I'm saying? And that's the balance, right? Because me and you could see the importance of a game. I'm just gonna throw it out there, like a Hi-Fi Rush, right?
Yeah.
We like, wow, look at that new IP, able to be greenlit, cultivated, completely different from what, Tango has done in the past, you know, but a person with no emotional attachment was like, well, look at this as the spreadsheet. No one bought it. We even put it to PlayStation. No one bought it, right? So that's the balance, right? And it's going to be interesting to see what these decisions are. And I will say, not that again, I'm not predicting. I'm very curious about Game Pass because in the showcase, what blew me away more than everything was seeing a Persona 6 in Game Pass, seeing Stranger Than Heaven in Game Pass, seeing major games that they were given a bag, right? And it's great for the platform. Does that cannibalize the sales on your own storefront? When you're in the business now of making money in your storefront and you're in the business of exclusives, not that Game Pass completely doesn't work. They've actually, said that when they reduce the subscription price down, they've already gotten back to profitability. So that 50% price hike that the prior regime did was super damaging, right? Because they said now by undoing that, that raised it. But I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the monkey's paw of Call of Duty removed from the servers. Does this set up a situation where a precedent where other games may be removed from the day one tier? These just interesting things to think about. Again, spitballing, not saying all doom and gloom, but no, they're gonna have to make tough decisions. Now, this is my favorite part. This is where we get to see who you are. Because again, past regimes, a lot of tomatoes to throw. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of mandates. You're not operating under that mandate now, but you're operating under fiscal responsibility. And you're gonna have to see. We're gonna see after you navigate it. But I'm pulling for them. I like what they've done so far the first 100 days. But this is when it gets real. And now I get to see.
So, The Verge reports sources suggest the cuts could include even a studio closure or changes to the Xbox Studio lineup. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying multiple at least, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's
any
weird
guesses,
because
gentlemen?
who's gonna get cut?
Yeah.
Ooh, definitely. I feel like Double Fine, like you guys were saying, that seems like a prime candidate. Sadly, because they do make really interesting games, but they're just not making money. What about Obsidian? I'm kind of worried about them. They're in an expensive place. They got to be an expensive studio to run. I don't think their last 2 games did necessarily super well, as far as I'm aware, right, Maddie?
Yeah. Outer Worlds
Maybe
2 and
Yeah.
Avowed flopped.
maybe
No,
they
I
kind of
don't.
get like one more because they're in development or whatever, and maybe it's cheaper to just because they're doing what is it? Why can't I think? FPS, first person RPG.
Yeah.
Why
What
can't I
about
think of it? Avowed 2. They're doing Avowed 2, so
Right.
maybe they have assets or whatever, a formula they can make it cheaper, and they're deep in development, so maybe they get one more. But
Right.
I'm worried about a lot of these teams now, because when you're doing things like you're taking away PS5 ports at the last minute, you're losing hundreds of millions of dollars in profit probably from that, or I would say at least 100 million. I could see Gears E-Day selling 1 million on PlayStation if it came out day and date, but you're losing that. And I think when you're doing choices like that, you're going to have to make up the money somewhere else. And that could be in terms of cuts or games not appearing on Game Pass in the future, like Cog was saying. I think that's a reality we could be dealing with.
Yeah, the entire studio family is going to be reevaluated. To your point, Obsidian, you know, I hope they're okay. You know, I feel if I had to guess, I feel more good about them only from the standpoint is the thing that actually succeeded was not promoted as the big one. For example, like Outer Worlds 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then About looks, they put resources on it and they put it on PlayStation. I think yes, they would have liked larger margins for sure. But I look at Grounded as the game that
Oh, yeah,
blew up and didn't see
true.
no one see coming. So I think they're safe for the and they, you know, I can talk about
Good
it. You know,
point.
I was able to play the PlayStation version of Grounded 2. They seem very excited about that. I think it's one of the few that's actually going to Switch. I think they've got something there. They may be afforded, but we'll see. We'll see. It still doesn't preclude reduction in staff from people, right? That's another
Yeah.
thing, right? If people aren't operating officially, now the one that I'm really interested in is Halo Studios. What's going on? Again, not that I'm calling for anyone's job, not that I'm just curious. You know, that's a big temp hole. And they've got a big release coming up in a month. You know, I'm gonna talk about what I experienced. But yeah, a lot of people are not immune. And also people who now we've waited a long time, they get to go Undead Labs, right? You know, if you don't knock it out the gate, how that goes. And even if they did, remember how long it took, Maddie, right? Remember just how long it took. You know, from a corporation, that's a lot of investment, a lot of turnover and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that a turn 10 situation can't happen where they don't shut you down, but they significantly reduce your operating. Look at Rare, right? You've
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
become the Sea of Thieves, you know, salt mines. What you know, where what there's nothing else. And then Sea of Thieves. Let's be honest, we don't hear as much. You know, as much. I
Not
will
as
speak
much
to the great
buzz
man
anymore.
Ben. Hopefully, we'll have him back on in the future to see how the community received that last update, which seems to be more I would say Minecrafty, where they let you create and they let you do. How is that received? Because some people may not find that, and especially if the player count's down. You know, and then what's the next project they working? Was that not greenlit? Is that a ZeniMax situation where they look at, you know, Everwild and all the other games like, we don't believe in that one, bro. So what happens to you? That would be a big one to be very sad about based on the true history of Rare and what we know they're capable of. But I don't speculate too much. I don't put negative juju all the way out for every studio. But
Yeah.
these are discussions that has to be had.
Yeah, man. I want to throw Bethesda Game Studios out there. I really think they might get hit hard. I mean, I don't see. I mean, I could be it could be dead wrong. They have so much live product going. Stuff like
2
Starfield and the
MMOs.
port did
Yeah.
not like really get going in the way that they probably hoped it did. That game's support feels like it's on life support. Elder Scrolls 6 is a while away. No date in sight. I don't think they're getting shut down, but I think they're going to get
No,
hit pretty
yeah.
hard. I think the games with dates from this showcase you can kind of wipe off the list. Brad, your idea of Obsidian is interesting because it's like, yeah, there's going to be a pocket of time. They seem to be well budgeted, at least by what they're saying.
Sure.
Even though they're well budgeted, they still didn't succeed with the Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed. But you're like, Tim Kaine just came back. They're working on something new. Avowed 2, Grounded's doing well. Like they seem to have a lot of irons in the fire where I hope they're okay. I really like them. But I fear
Yeah.
it's going to be one of the smaller teams for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if
And
we're
just
just
like
getting to
the
the point
shutdown.
where just decent might not be good enough, or good might not be good enough now
Yeah. Oh,
for them.
I think last year, I think that might be a Phil thing that does carry overs. I think like last year when we were starting to see like, you know, because they again, we always talk about how Phil seemingly had his favorites or gave teams a chance, however we want to look at it. A lot of time was spent working on these things. Those games came out. They did not do very well. And so when the axe had to fall, he had to look at major investments like Project Blackbird from ZeniMax Online Studios, which I'm sure had way more potential than most things inside their library, but they had to just start cutting costs and targeting hits that would be safer bets. I'm sure the conversation began with like, oh, why the fuck don't we have a Fallout game, guys? You know, like, sorry, I know I'm always beating that war drum, but it's like the most perfect
that's a great
example.
question.
Why don't we have more Halo spinoffs, guys? Like, you know, why aren't we doing more of those? Like, you know, what's going on with that? And it's like, yeah, those are more sure bets than on paper, by the way, not saying they'd be better games or anything like that, but they're more sure bets than Project Blackbird, and maintaining another live product, even if the team seem to really love it. So I think that's going to carry over with Asha. I think she's, you know, I had a feeling, it could be wrong, but like I feel like she's going to target those big franchises, and that'll be a good thing in some instances. Again, like as a Fallout fan, like I'm gonna be sitting here cheering for jumping for joy when she's like obviously going to greenlight a bunch of Fallout shit, because it's like, well, why the fuck wouldn't we do this? Like, we're hurting business and we have this IP that's one of the biggest shows on the planet. What are we doing? Like, someone needs to start asking that question and getting that going, right? At the same time, it might come at the cost of something else that we really care about. And so hopefully Fallout's great. But we'll see. Brad, thank you for this.
How long?
This is great.
You're welcome. How long do you think until we actually hear about the results from this?
Apparently Schreier wrote it's coming
July? Oh no.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be early July. Early July, yeah.
So a couple weeks.
We'll arrive in July. Yep. We got
so they're probably going through everything right now, looking over the books.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, the fiscal quarter ends on the 30th, so maybe that week.
Yeah.
Or do they do it ahead of? I don't know. Do they? I'm trying to remember when they did layoffs. Is it ahead of the quarter concluding, or they usually wait for it to be over?
That's a good question. I forget now. The layoffs, exact scale of which is not clear, expected shortly after the close of Microsoft's fiscal year on June 30th. So shortly after.
Could be the day after.
Yeah. It's coming. The Greed Reaper strikes again. Damn it.
Oh man.
Damn it.
Actually real.
It's real now. It's real.
About it.
I literally have a tweet here.
We put it to the test.
Someone tagged me in COG in the news and said, "You guys recorded with Brad, didn't you? You just had to test the walk, didn't you?"
Do people know I'm recording here or so? Dude, that's so
we
funny.
mentioned that we were flirting with the idea, but yeah, this is gonna be. I'm so excited to read the comments. This is going to be a great moment. LSM history is being made.
Man. This is historic. Your reaction was gold, Maddie.
Yeah. That was not for the camera. I was like in disbelief. When I had stood up and walked away, I was like, I need to move my legs. Like, I can't just sit in my chair. Like, I need to walk.
I was feeling, I felt it too, because I was feeling cocky. I'm reading something and Maddie's like, bro. And I'm like, oh no. What happened? Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? Once again, we are here. We did good. We tried to fend off as much as you. But at least you struck after.
So, Brad, we'll bring you back. We'll bring you back top of July. We'll see what's going on then.
Oh, exactly. Man, I don't know if that's a good idea, dude.
This is great. Oh, my God. Professional podcasting, baby.
Man.
All right. Let's get into our main big bits of news here for the rest of the show. The stuff that we planned for. Xbox has confirmed a reliable pipeline of exclusives. A video that was making the rounds alongside a transcription by GameSpot, was a talk that Matthew Ball had with the games business. And it's there that he said a lot of interesting things. And so I want to dive into it. Obviously, in light of the recent news, we'll see how everything plays out here, but it looks like there's a lot more we still don't know about Xbox as a business. So I'm going to read this GameSpot article because they kind of have the three major points I really wanted to talk about when it came to the talk with Matthew Ball. He said, everyone in the industry understands that exclusives are important, and Microsoft is no different. The first two console exclusives that Microsoft announced at the Xbox Game Showcase were Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution. Ball said that players can expect a reliable pipeline of Xbox exclusives that validates their historical investment in the Xbox platform and keeps them there. Microsoft's major live service multiplayer games like Call of Duty will continue to be multi-platform releases going forward, he said. Additionally, titles that were previously announced for non-Xbox platforms will still come to those platforms because of the previously agreed upon plans. The messaging from Microsoft around exclusives under the leadership of Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has been a little bit muddy. Okay, this is their opinion. Here we go. We have no desire to move away from the console business. We are making an investment in our platform, the console platform, that is going to be strengthened by these exclusives. Ball went on to acknowledge that certain Xbox exclusives will sell fewer units than they might otherwise if they were multi-platform, but that is a short-term issue, and making these changes will help Xbox's console business grow in the future, he claims. So I guess in light of recent news, they might be shrinking down potentially dramatically to focus on the core base that is there to then rebuild and grow outwards. So we'll see there. But continuing into Project Helix, he said the crisis is not yet getting better, admitting that he previously underestimated how bad things might get. He said the window in which we and others are going to have to work through is getting longer, and that is going to constrain this category. Today, demand for Xbox consoles is outstripping supply, Ball said. We are producing them as quickly as possible. These are a severe limitation to how quick there is a severe limitation to how quickly we can build to do that, but it's not a question of appetite. That is a privilege as a company. It is a challenge for us to figure out. We're working very hard to rethink everything that we can about Helix, which is a console we are committed to shipping. We're very cognizant of the ways in which we need to change as a company to make sure it is affordable, to make sure that it is flexible. We are working hard to rethinking what the console model can look like, not in an exclusionary way, but in an additive way, so that we can take a look at this crisis, which may have acute effects for 2 to 2.5 years. And we are working very hard to figure out the best way to navigate it, or a way that works for everyone, that does not ask too much from players, but also doesn't detract from the other investments that we need to make as a company. We also have tens of millions of people who we asked to spend $500, which is still an incredible sum of money. Those people that we asked to buy a console years ago, we still have an obligation to them to meet their expectation and to have them feel rewarded for the platform that they chose. So he also talked about one other thing, which we'll get into, which is Game Pass. But with this here, Asha Sharma also mentioned in a conversation with Fortune, she said, look, I think that we are the number 2 publisher in the world, and when you do that, you want your games to be everywhere. You're stronger when the world plays with you. At the same time, we're increasingly becoming more of a platform. It's hard to find examples of platforms out there that don't have exclusive services and content. And so this is a journey for us. Our business isn't particularly healthy, as you noted, so we're starting by introducing 1 or 2 signature exclusives. And as the business is healthy, we will look to try and do more. So with that in mind, we have a couple write-ins here. JP writes, hey, Dukes, can you rationalize why bringing back limited console exclusivity while also continuing to support Game Pass will work this time? This was the game plan at the start of the generation. It led to pivots and backtracking that left Xbox in a position where you two were contemplating whether or not the show would even be fully Xbox-focused moving forward. Now new leadership is going back to the same playbook, and I'm left wondering how this time it'll work despite everything in the development pipeline is more expensive now, the rumored cost of the next console coming at a premium price, and Game Pass losing millions of subscribers when they increase the price by 50%. If you're subsidizing the cost of your own games for your player base and potentially opening your platform to competing storefronts with a PC-like machine, I fail to see where the money is coming from that is funding the platform. Meanwhile, Not John Cena writes, my exclusive Dukes. One thing that stood out to me after the showcase in Matthew Ball's interview is how dramatically the conversation around exclusivity has changed. For the last couple of years, many Xbox fans who argued that exclusives still matter were told that they didn't understand the industry. We heard that hardware was irrelevant, exclusives are outdated, and that Xbox's future was simply putting games everywhere. If you expressed concerns about losing exclusives, you were often accused of being tribalistic or stuck in an old way of thinking. Fast forward to today, we have Xbox leadership openly discussing the importance of exclusive. Matthew Ball described the recent announcements as the start of a program and talked about creating a reliable pipeline of exclusive content that validates investment in the Xbox platform. Asha Sharma similarly reinforced that if Xbox wants to be a platform, it needs exclusive content and services. To me, this isn't about taking victory laps, but acknowledging that many fans weren't crazy for wanting Xbox to retain some form of exclusivity strategy. The idea was never that every game should be exclusive. The concern was that if nothing is exclusive, what exactly is the value proposition of the platform itself? What's interesting is that Xbox now seems to be saying what some of the fans have been saying all along. You could be a multi-platform publisher while still recognizing that exclusives are important to maintaining a healthy ecosystem. There are still plenty of unanswered questions about which games will be exclusive and how those decisions are made, but after years of hearing that exclusives supposedly didn't matter, it's refreshing, to hear Xbox leadership openly explain why they do. What do you say, Dukes? What are your thoughts, especially after Matthew Ball's interview? Have a Call of Duty show ender part 2 kind of day. All right, JP. All right, not John Cena. Thank you for the write-in. Gentlemen, we have a reliable pipeline of exclusives on the way. Cog, your thoughts and feelings on what Matthew Ball had to say? I know you very much enjoy this gentleman. So how are we feeling about what Mr. Ball had to say? We have balls and booty in the building.
Balls and booty.
There we go. That's a duo.
That's a duo right there. Yeah, man. Look, Matthew Ball, I've come to kind of learn about. And, just for full context, I was a person, I'm an old curmudgeon gamer, Generation Xer. Yes, I come from the idea of exclusive. The issue is I'm also based in reality, and I understand that there's a business to be run. So I always wanted to understand, when Xbox makes a decision I don't like, help me understand how you got to that conclusion. Help me understand, are you going to be the biggest publisher in the world? Again, I'm talking past regime stuff. And if it's a matter of putting games everywhere, and it's about survival, because remember, as Brad knows, I'm a Sega kid, I'm a refugee, I'm an orphan, and I seen what happened to my beloved Sega. I seen when the hardware wasn't selling, and they were forced to get out of the business and become a platform, a big platform publisher. And I'm like, okay, I had to accept at the time this was the course, the path for survival. And even though I didn't like it, the Saturn and the Dreamcast, it took its toll, and they had to get out of the hardware business. And then I had to see Sonic over there pimped out for Mario. And it was a hard day for a console warrior Cog back in his younger days. It was a hard day, but I understood as I got older. I'm like, okay, the business understood that's what had to happen for them to survive. Now we fast forward, to Xbox, and I looked at the ABK deal. And for the record, I still championed it. I still loved it because to me, you took a shot to compete, to try to be number one against the Sonys and the Nintendos.
Right.
And it just didn't work out for whatever reason, right? So now there's a price to be paid for that. And now you have to give up these exclusives, or you're going to be a publisher. We all knew the 4 games. I'm like, there it is. I'm like, writing's on the wall. It's only a matter of time before things pivot to where it is. Now we get to where we are now. Asha Sharma is in. And I'll be honest, yes, I was a little in my feelings for the past regime because I'm like, past regime wasn't afforded this lack of a 30% mandate.
Right.
Past regime was told AI, and had to operate under those constraints. My thing is, initially with Asha, how are you going to navigate this? Because to me, at the time, based on the information we had, I didn't see anything changing from the top level. So I'm like, you still gonna have to answer to a 30% mandate. You still gonna have to deal with AI. Then we started to see the sides, man. We watched it, her press conference, her statements, her Xbox Wire posts. We started to see the slick talk against Copilot, the slick talk against generative AI. Interesting. Oh, you're making a player voice. Oh, player voice says exclusive. They don't even care about the platform features that you made it for. They're like, we want exclusive games. How are you going to deal with that? Oh, you're making statements. You're talking real tough. Like, we're going back to exclusives. Okay, but now we get to this part, which is your question. Matthew Ball. I have asked around about this gentleman because I'm a person, and this is no disrespect to any statistical firm. I'm a Circana dude for the most part with hard and fast numbers, how sales, how the industry's going. When people present new data and everybody takes the new data as gospel, I don't run to it. I'm like, who are you? Let's vet you as this source. And I would see these Matthew Ball reports, these amazing slideshows about presentation PowerPoints about where the industry going, attention war, people we're losing out to, the social media platforms and stuff like that. Gen Alpha and all the generations before, they don't care about it. I'm seeing this. I'm like, okay. And people are running with this gospel. I went to many people behind the scenes, including on the highest level on Xbox, from the highest level on third-party publishers who are not inside the Xbox bubble, who don't have any inherent bias to be like, yeah, this is before his hire. I was like, who is this dude?
Mm.
Is he to be trusted? Everyone came back to me with the resounding, he is that dude. He is one of the future thinkers and strategists of the industry. When you've got Tim Sweeney jumping out the window like, oh my God, Microsoft got who? Right? I can talk about this because now it's no longer on the front. I even went to Phil, yo, who's your man saying that? What's going on with, oh no, Matthew Paul? Highly respected, super co-signed. Okay. And my impressions of him was just, okay, he's a strategist. He understands how the industry is going, but how does he feel about things like the console, right? Is he a console guy? Because again, my selfish needs, I have to be, be taken care of, right? That also, there were comments about Game Pass and stuff like that. Not saying he was anti, but he did seem to be concerned about subscription services and day one games in subscription services, right? So I'm like, interesting. What I'm seeing from him right now is definitely a shift, which is exclusives matter to him on this platform. And the vibe I'm getting is when you see these moves, they are reinvesting in the platform at the sacrifice of making the short-term Microsoft corporate greedy money, which is refreshing. I selfishly like that. That means you are trying to compete. And the energy I will say that is I'm seeing around the showcase when I speak to people, I like to speak to what I consider lapsed players, right? No disrespect to Brad. I consider you like a lapsed Xbox guy in the sense of like, yo, you rock with them if they do something interesting for you, right? But like if there's nothing to like, you're like, I'm cool. Like I'm on PC.
Yeah, I'm not like a diehard Xbox fan. I'm not playing on my Series X or anything like that. I'm playing on PC their games now and stuff like that.
Exactly. So to me, the feedback from a guy like you is more vital in terms of why you left and why there's no interest. I'm speaking to more players that are in your situation, Brad, and they're like, yo, I like what Xbox is doing in this short term.
Yeah.
I have at least interest, right? You're the guys that we got to win over. I could be as hardcore a guy as I want, but in order to win, we need Brad. We need him. That's it.
Well,
and I'm sorry, please continue.
I'm going to say they're not going to win me over because they're still putting stuff on Steam.
Fair enough. And that is a conflicting thing that I'm seeing from certain people. Like I'll put his business out because this is the homie. I spoke to Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
And Jimmy, I was like, how are you feeling, about everything? He's like, bro, I love it. I'm back. I'm like, really? What makes you back? And he's like, well, and just contrast, because to your point, you're like, Steam's there. I'm really not having interest. At his point, he loves Steam so much. So he's like, I like that I missed this nugget. He's like, they're putting the introduction of being able to transfer your Steam save to the Xbox save is what he's kind of alluded
like
to. And he's excited about that because he's like, I have a Steam library and if I want that synergy, almost like an Xbox Play Anywhere synergy, but with the cloud and the data. So it doesn't feel like it's this foreign release, even though they're both the same game on a PC, so to speak. I was like, interesting. So again, these are early signs. We got to see how this plays forward. But to overall answer your question, I think besides a mini snafu he recently made with retweeting accounts of things that he probably shouldn't have said because that comes off of, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That to me,
I did see this. Okay,
that's a mistake. I'm not going to sit there and give him a pass, even though I like him a lot, because it could be perceived that you like. First of all, you love the spotlight. You like to be out front. You like to be talking. Yes. Also, it could be perceived as a power play. Like I could be the face of Xbox if you know what I mean? Like it could. You have to be careful. And he's new. He doesn't know everyone. And he liked that one. You know what I'm saying? Someone's like, yeah, you should be talking. You should be the face. And he's ambitious. And last point I said, I know I'm rambling, is that I'll be honest, this was the move from Asha that I respected the most, even more so than the Game Pass price drop. The fact that she got him on as a strategist for the future, as a person who really understands how the industry is moving, I respect it. So that's my early assessment. We'll see how it goes, but that's where I'm at. You had a question.
You said he's not really like a console guy, seemingly.
Oh, no,
Seemingly from
he
what
is.
Oh, he is?
He
Okay.
is.
Oh, he is. I think he wasn't.
That's what threw me off because I thought he wasn't.
Okay.
I thought he wasn't. And yeah, so I'm learning more about him. And again, selfishly, those needs kind of align with my sensibilities. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but we'll see. He's still got to run a business. I can say what I want. You know, it's still got to try to work.
Right.
Out,
I got this quote from this thing with his interview. Him saying, "Today, demand for the Xbox consoles outstripping supply." Ball said, "We are producing them as quickly as possible. There's a severe limitation to how quickly we can do that, but it's not a question of appetite," he said. Come on, dude. Come on, man. You know there's a lack of appetite. It's been like that for years. Years and years and years. So I don't buy that for 1 second.
The manipulation of what appetite actually is. Like, again, this is when people are like, oh, the Xbox Ally sold out. I'm like, with all due respect, like, how many did they fucking make, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not selling out your stock could be, I made like one pair of socks. It's sold out. Like, you know, it's like, whoa, all of your stock's gone. It's like, yeah, all one of them is gone. You know, like, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but yeah, the whole demand versus supply thing, like, I have no doubt after this showcase, more people want an Xbox than before. I think this year has been sending in the right direction. I believe that. But I'm not kidding myself that they're like, man, we've been wanted for a while. We're just not being able to make that many. You know, it's like,
there's no way.
I don't know, bro. Whoever we got to blame for that after this last generation, I don't care about that. It's just like the demand is low, dude. These last 2.5 years on Xbox have just been brutal. And it feels like there's no direct tangible future where it's like, oh, if all your games are going over here, I'm just gonna play them over there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Asha seemingly having more freedom than Phil had, and all that kind of stuff. But I think people need to remember that Phil had a lot of freedom for a long time, years, and it got him in a bad position eventually. So that they really came down on him. And I think right now she has a long leash. And she's allowed to make a lot of calls, but there's going to be a time to pay the piper. Like, someone's watching the clock and being like, you got a deadline to make this certain amount. And if she doesn't hit the margins they want or whatever the brand, I think it may become even more ruthless. We're seeing just a little bit of this. Maybe they'll turn it around. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I feel like they are so down bad in a lot of ways. And they're saying we got to take even more hits for a little bit to get back up. And I'm like, well, you're bleeding out already. Can you afford to open another wound or something like that and lose more blood? I don't know if they can take that hit quite yet if they're in that state, but maybe they could do it. I don't know. I'm not super confident in them.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, look, we're not going to sugarcoat the apathy for the brand, even though, like I said, the first 100 days have been great.
Yeah,
you know, we love these type of moves, but yeah, there's a price to be made. And you know, like you said, Brad, you know, they're already bleeding out. And when you take this strategy of saying, okay, we're going to take even more short-term loss for long-term gain, there's a price to be paid for that. So yeah, we'll see. I think to your question, I had to guess based on the little corporate card guessing work. They've got 3 to 4 years. They got.
You think of like, of like Xbox itself existing, or Asha having kind of like more free reign.
Asha having free reign.
You think they have that much?
I think it's about 3 because the reason why I feel she has to have a little bit of a leash and a rope, like you said, to be so drastic against the Satya initiative short term, you have to be allowed time to actually have that work, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, especially with the co-pilot removal, I thought that was very significant, especially with the Game Pass price drop. Corporations want to make money. They're not. I've never heard of a subscription service say, you know what, we're too expensive. Let's bring this down. Anything that a corporation does. So that is a level of control. And the fact that, again, that she brought him in and now is assembling her team, you know, you don't assemble a team unless you're afforded some form of a window. So I had to guess 3 years, 3 to 4. We'll give you free reign. We're going to see what you do. And also she has the strength of that, not that the AI bubble has burst, but it's at the peak point of overspend. And they've got to tighten their noose too. It's the old sports analogy, Maddie. If you're the GM, you could fire the coach all you want. The new regime and the new one that you bring in, they have to succeed because they have to align. Otherwise, your job's in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. And that's how I look at it. And Asha's ambitious. So we will see. But yeah, that's it. And to your point, Brad, if that don't work after 3 to 4,
yeah,
I don't know where this brand goes.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
I agree, it's like great for an Xbox player or the strength of the brand to have exclusives and whatnot. But you're gonna lose a lot of money. They lost a lot of money on how many Call of Duties did we get in Game Pass? One or two, I want to say, maybe one or two.
Was
2 so
two.
far. Yeah,
Two so
2,
far,
2, yeah,
but
2. Yeah.
that's
And
over.
then now this one, that's over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's over. So maybe you get 1 or 2 years maybe of this strategy. If it doesn't work out, what I'm saying, maybe it
Right.
will work out. But yeah, 2 or 3 years, I guess, because like I don't know, Helix or whatever is what 2 years away, maybe less.
Yeah,
Who knows?
maybe less. It's all dependent on the obviously the RAM crisis.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to guess, they probably wanted to come out 2027, but now you see things like the
Yeah.
Steam machine, they're pulling back like, hey, we gotta wait, we gotta wait. They're all that's the unfortunately that's the other bad hand they've been dealt. And I don't envy this current
Mm-hmm.
generation. Like you got saddled with a RAM crisis and trying to launch a new console in a RAM crisis. And here's the other thing. In these articles, they're mentioning subsidy, which
Mm-hmm.
threw me off. Like, oh, you're trying to figure out a way to try to make it cheaper under this condition in this climate.
Yeah,
They're
maybe
they're
that'll.
up against so much. It's
Yeah,
very difficult.
maybe there's just going to be less powerful than what they originally intended it to be, or something like that. I wonder. I don't know.
You saw the quote she made about, remember, Phil's past regime was always about we will never lose the hardware, the power discussion, because his regime started where it was 900p versus 1080p,
Right.
right? You're losing. You're the
Bring me
worst,
back,
right?
man.
Okay, we'll never lose that again. That was his decree, right? His first 100 days. Here comes Scorpio. Here comes Series X, right? Boom, we're more powerful. Our flops are flopping better than your
Yeah.
flops. You know what I'm saying? That's how, remember that? And people are like, yes, yes, right? She's saying, I don't know about the most performative, high, powerful job. We got to make this as more affordable because people can't, get in our ecosystem.
Mhm.
And now we're valuing the console. See, the regime changes, the opposite. It's interesting, man. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
if you're
I
making
love this
like
stuff.
I wonder how dramatic the change will be, and it's like, how's that going to affect things you had before in plans, or like deals with plants and
Yes.
stuff like that? Lot to
And
think about.
last point that you also made too, that I think is very highly underrated. Helix was sold to us, just the name itself, Helix, the mixing of DNA, PC, console synergy. We can't afford to not avoid the elephant in the room, what me and Maddie's always been discussing, which is about the Bigfoot that is Steam.
Mhm.
Do you really want to play fully nice? Indications seem to be yes. Calling
Yeah.
shout out to Jimmy, Steve Deco. Subscribe to the man child. Love Steve Ray. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? And he's seeming like, girl, we've got some early indicators on the Steve side that they're still willing to play nice. I was wondering that if they're in a sustainability model, do you remove the storefront? Does when Fable or Clockwork comes out, let's just
Mhm.
say, during Helix, right? Or Blade, will there be a Steam version of Blade available to be accessed on Helix?
Yeah.
Or do you cut them out off of the storefront? It gets tricky. Are you running it like that? Right?
Yeah.
That was the prototype model under the Phil and Sarah regime, that you can have multiple storefronts. Does that change? She seems to be very mavericky and moving in a way. So if it's exclusives now and it's about the hardware now, can you theoretically play nice with Steam? These are tough decisions.
Yeah, it's like how far do you want to go? Do you want to go all in actually, or just put your like 1 foot in? Like, we're gonna ditch PlayStation, but we're still gonna support Steam, kind of thing. Or you just be like, are they gonna finally just be like, no, PC's only for our storefront, or something like that?
Exactly.
And
All questions that have to be answered.
and
Yeah.
yeah, because the PC market is just like, most people who play on Steam are like, I'm not playing anywhere else. I don't care if your game's not available. I'm not gonna play it then. And that's happened time and time again. Just ask Epic how that's worked out for them.
Bro, talk about it. They giving games away. Nah, I'm
Yeah.
good. I don't even
Yeah.
want to launch a
Nah.
launcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks. Good stuff. Good talk.
Yeah. When it comes to this reliable pipeline, like how long it would last, I find myself on the I can't believe it until it's actually happening,
Mm.
Like it just seems the business is so erratic that I imagine they're not committing to this unless they are really sure about something. Again, I think what they're most worried about is not bringing someone like Brad in, but keeping someone like Cog and I
Yeah.
in that building. Again, when I think you lost people like me at the end of last year, I'm just like, I'm good, dude. Like, I'm not buying shit on your platform. Like, I don't want to give you my money. Like, I'm good. Um, I think when you lost hardcore people like me, like, I'm sure there were millions like that. And so these types of moves are to appease them, no doubt. I think they need the optical win, but I also think they pick these types of games because I'm sure with the development timelines for these titles, ports are ready to go. Like, they're just, if this shit flops on them, like, give it a year and they can just put it on
Yeah, put
PlayStation.
Gears of War out later if they want,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Put Clockwork somewhere else. Like, I'm sure I'd be so hard pressed to imagine the coalition after all this time just being told, like, you're exclusive now. And they'd be like, fucking,
Yeah, they
I'm
can't be
sure it
happy
came with
about
the
that.
caveat of like, hey guys, if it gets really bad, like, we've got you with this port, like, I'd be very surprised if it was just like hard and fast. At least behind closed doors. Um, for the future though, I mean, there's so many question marks about the affordability of hardware. Like, that's another thing that Asha's talking a lot about, and like what that looks like. And it could be everything from cloud software to, they talk about partnerships they can make for hardware. I mean, again, I totally admit my lack of knowledge here.
OEMs,
I'm like, I
yeah.
really don't know what gets into that. I can't fool myself into thinking, Microsoft, Xbox might have found like something secret that all these other companies who are having their prices fucking nuked by just can't figure out. So I'm not really holding my breath for that, but I bring all that up because I think these exclusives will not matter if hardware prices cannot come down. It just can't. It's the thing that I've taken away. I'm very excited about the exclusives because I want to see them compete. I want to see them fight. But I think the realist in me started talking like, this will not last and this will not matter if you cannot bring people into the ecosystem for an affordable price. The conversation for hardware has evolved so much. I've been beating this drum a lot recently. I've been saying that. Remember when we used to talk about, like, it was such common knowledge, like, yeah, when someone sells you hardware like a Switch or PlayStation 4 or whatever, it's like, yeah, they're losing some money on that because they want you in their ecosystem, because they want to have you buying software, and that's where they make all of their money on you. That's why they make exclusives, so they get 100% of that, or they do third-party marketing deals. So those big games that come around, they don't get all that money, but they get the largest piece of the pie. And so we're now at the point in the conversation where, like, everyone's talking about, well, the Valve has to break even, or Xbox has to break even on Helix. I'm like, first off, since fucking when? But second of all, it's like, that's how much money they're losing, that they're talking like this now. Like, hardware is a profitable endeavor of some kind in the gaming space. When, I mean, it is a profitable endeavor, I should be clear, but it's more like profit by losing out on that, taking a hit so that they buy more software, trying to have a competitive price. No doubt we're in the same position we were in last year, where during 2025, some of the biggest games that were rewarded were undercutting completely. Games that could have charged more went for 50 and sold more than, and made more than games that were at 60, 70, and 80. And that's significant to know, because I'm sure there's people in this industry and other parts of the world that know for their hardware, they're like, if we could just undercut, people would buy into us because they just want to be able to afford something,
Yeah.
So again, if they cannot figure that part out, this reliable pipeline that they're planning right now and talking about getting the business healthy will not matter. If they can cut those hardware prices, though, I'm sure it'll stick, because that's what then people can look at Gears and be like, oh, I can get Gears and Clockwork and whatever else they commit to. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying this like I think this is the price it's going to go for, but if it's around like the $500-$600 mark, that starts to become more of a conversation for that player. I think Xbox would be wise to get back into their all access plan. That was a big thing for them.
That. Yeah, I remember that.
Interest free, dive on in. You get Game Pass in your console, and you pay like $45 that day. And yeah, you're on the hook for a monthly pay for 6 months or whatever. But you just got what you wanted day of, and it's not really like charging you more over time.
Yeah.
It allows you to impulse buy an Xbox. I thought it was one of the best things that Phil and his team did. I think that's more needed now than ever.
Yeah.
But again, it's to me, it comes down to hardware prices, and I think that's what would hold this strategy.
I agree.
Otherwise, though, telling the truth would help. Here's a fun one. So obviously we heard Gears of War E-Day was supposed to be on PlayStation 5. I'm just going to read the back and forth here because that is the story. It became a big fiasco. we just read from this article from Jason Schreier how like they pulled a Halo trailer from the State of Play. Tom Warren wrote, Microsoft changed Gears of War E-Day to an Xbox exclusive at the last minute. If you want the ultimate proof of that, Xbox posted a podcast today and forgot to remove the PlayStation 5 logo from the E-Day art, which, by the way, no longer says console exclusive on it. He says Xbox has now removed the video. Aaron Greenberg, I like Aaron, but foolishly decides to jump in here. I'm like, bro, just should have let it be. He says, hey, Tom, I can confirm this is not true. We just limited the knowledge of this news to a very small internal group. Intention was to share this news first with our players and everyone watching Showcase. Tom Warren says, what's not true? And Aaron says, it is not true that it was a last minute decision. And Tom Warren says, when was the decision made then? And Aaron Greenberg says, a lot has changed since Asha came into role 107 days ago. We are moving fast, and it's frankly pretty energizing the hallways here, by the way, not answering the question at all. I was made aware of these exclusives roughly a month in advance. Hope that helps. And so I read that, and I'm like, okay, so either there was a level of incompetency here, like this is a huge oversight, or negligence. But I don't know, bro. Like this whole,
you just don't know who to believe anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing that would help me buy in a little bit more to their plans. Is like I'm there for it. I support it. It's something I've talked about for years with COG, where I'm like, I don't know about this non-exclusivity thing, and I started to budge a little bit of like, okay, they want to be multi-plat, they want to make money, got it, good, okay, makes sense for where they want to be. But now it's like you're going exclusive, and now you're trying to posture it like, oh, it wasn't a last minute change. Like there's so many ways to reposition this where it doesn't sound like an L. Like, yeah, like we listen to our fans. Like this is what they want. Boom.
I would say a month is still a very last minute change.
That's what I'm
how long this has been in development for.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're talking about a game that, I mean, we haven't seen the Coalition do a proper full launch since, let me double check because it's been that long actually. Gears 5
it was like 2018 or 19, right?
2019. Yeah, I was off by a year. It's 2019. So we haven't seen a proper full release from them since then. It is absolutely last fucking minute if you tell them, and you could tell by their developer direct, by the way.
Yep.
I think if you were marketing exclusively to an Xbox audience, you would have shown more multiplayer. You would have shown more horde mode. You wouldn't have done a more general sort of like, hey guys, here's the campaign. Here's a deep dive on the tech making it. And we'll see you for the open beta, because you would be talking to a much more broad audience with a like multi-campaign, multi-beat campaign. You could still do all that stuff, but I think showing it would have been a lot more advisable. But it makes a lot more sense when you watch that developer direct, thinking about how, oh, this is supposed to be for everybody, not just Xbox fans. So that's where I stand on it. I don't know, man. I think that sort of stuff is like not a massive rake you're stepping on, but like just shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
Yeah, like I get it. It's his job, to make the company look good and everything like that. So I understand that, but I'm just kind of like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Look, I'm with y'all on this one. This feels to me like let's present a unified front from a corporate standpoint. Let's present the fact that we were all lock and step with decision and we knew when it was going to happen. But the reality is, I mean, shout out to Greedy. I love Greedy, but at the end of the day, it's like you kind of self-snitched on yourself, because at one time you say, oh, this was long in advance. But then literally when Tom Warren pressed the issue, it was said, I was made aware of these exclusives roughly a month in advance. So if it's a month in advance, that's last minute. That's how I have to internalize it. That's not, because I was told, 6 months, like you just showcase these are done way out, and recorded way out in advance. That's cool, but this seems to be a situation where the logo, potentially was removed from PlayStation. This seems to be a decision where they were reevaluating, in my opinion, how quick we want to do exclusives. We want to take the short-term loss. We want to give the players what they want and reinvest in this brand and bring it back to prominence. How quickly can we get Gears, Halo, Fable? What's the logistics? What contractually can we do? Can't we do? Hey, again, this is COG speculating. PlayStation Gears of War wasn't really announced. E-Day wasn't announced for any platform yet. Maybe the retailers knew, but publicly there will be no egg on the face, because there wasn't, a PlayStation thing definitively said, unlike Halo. And what we can say now, because this has come out, and I can talk about it, is that Halo Campaign Evolved, right, was supposed to appear elsewhere on other showcases. So that seemed to be last minute to pull away from State of Play. And now, it is coming over to the Xbox showcase, and they just couldn't get rid of the port situation in time. That's what they operating on. I think what it is I'm going to be perfectly frank, is they understand that doing these type of decisions will ruffle the PlayStation fan base and the partnership that you have with them with giving their games. And I think they're just trying to play both sides on it. That's just my guess from the outside in. Love Greedy, but I do feel that this is this is last minute. That's the definition of last minute to me. This doesn't seem 6 months to a year ahead that you knew that this was going to be.
We went from this very patient approach to exclusivity. Like, I mean, how last minute could it have been? We just had a podcast with Matt Booty where he was sitting down like, yeah, dude, no strategy updates. What is the main fucking talking point coming out of this showcase? And what they led and ended it with, a strategy update. So it's the inconsistency again. There's more consistency than before. They're all saying the same thing about exclusivity, but it's also just like that level of like trust and not like being so erratic where I don't know. Again, I don't know what they saw that made them jump, but they're going for it, which I really do respect. But I mean, my prediction was we're not going to hear about their exclusive plans until next year. I was like, why would you do it now? You can't produce more units, but it seems like, again, they're looking at people leaving the platform and they want to keep them there, keep them spending money here. I think that's why they made the hasty decision. There must have been something accelerating that they're like, we need to kind of contain the spread, if you will.
And in fairness to them, only thing I will give Asha and a credit is that they're operating under the constraints of Phil and Sarah's decisions of this is an Xbox and logos everywhere. What can you realistically pull off in the time frame that you've been hired and you've been here? What can you realistically do? And I think Gears was probably the most realistic thing they could do, because if I had to guess, if this strategy is to be believed, if this is what they want to do, they would like to pull Fable. They would like to pull Halo. You just can't do it because you've already, that generation, that past regime already plastered it out everywhere, and things that maybe contractually was in place. So that's my guess on the situation. But to your point, Maddie, it does not excuse the visual, the optics of inconsistency, of bad messaging. It doesn't excuse that. People are going to say, there you go again, talking out both sides of your mouth.
I know, that's just because I feel like when I hear this company talk sometimes, I feel like not everyone is on the same page, it feels like to me, in this company. Some people may know, but things get trickled out slower and others don't know. And the problem with that is because, cool for us, but makes them look bad, is they like to talk a lot. And it's been biting them in the ass quite a bit. I love the transparency and stuff, but it just seems like, it feels like almost they're doing stuff on the fly, like flying by the seat of their pants sometimes. I'm like, yeah, we'll do this exclusive, but like maybe we'll stop doing exclusive, just depending on how things go. I'm like, it just feels like to me they're experimenting a lot, and I think it's important to do that, but I'm like, you don't have to fucking say everything so much. You don't need to talk so much. You don't need to.
Yeah. I feel like part of the plan could be, if you really want to throw a wild guess out there and talk about flying by the seat of their pants, there just really could be as simple as like, dude, if we need to make money, if we need to make green over green, we'll just fucking tear the whole thing down and go multiply. Like, it's just like, it's that simple. If we really are about to die,
if they get to that level,
like, this is what we'll do. Now, again, that's where like Satya and Amy Hood come to mind for me. And I'm like, are they going to let them go? Like, okay, we're going to retool again, or are they going to take them out back? I don't know. But, in this case, I didn't think it was that bad.
That is so visceral, bro. Roll them out. Take them out back.
I do like roll them out. That's it.
Roll them out. But roll them out is the funniest joint, because I've been take up time rolling them out. Like it's some Weekends at Bernie's situation, and the man, you just got a body out there, just a figurehead. Like, it's so funny, the visuals.
Well, anyway, let's keep things rolling here a little bit, because speaking of Matthew Ball, communication, people saying certain things, one thing that only he had let loose during this past weekend was what actually happened with Game Pass after the price hike. So that was a pretty disastrous moment for Xbox. Their lead service had finally bit the bullet, jumped the price. Matthew Ball said, according to Jeff Keighley on Twitter, that Xbox had shed millions of subscribers when the Game Pass price increased by 50% in fall 2025. I don't usually like to be that annoying Brad who's like, yeah, good. But I was very happy to see it was in the millions. I thought it was totally irrational what they did. I know it was a long time coming, but the price jump was so egregious, and it felt like a lot of the decisions with Xbox have been sort of like, I get it's good for them. I get the decisions as an enthusiast they made that put them in a spot where it's like, fuck, bro, we lost. Again, when you read a Schreier report, we lost $300 million in sales in Call of Duty. We need to get that money back. Like, so I get it from like the enthusiast point of view. I see that. I'm like, but I'm glad people spoke with their wallets.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important. It's so underestimated too. It's like the strongest thing that you can do. Especially when online, everyone's fighting with one another. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're someone like us three here on a show, and we have an audience, we're lucky to do this, or just a everyday gamer. People will challenge you on these things where it's like, I was heavily challenged on the idea of like, I'm not giving this company any money. And I'm glad to see a lot of other people put their money where their mouth is. And it wasn't just, quote, typical Xbox outrage online, end quote, but actual actions, because I think it's what led to the price decrease. Didn't bring me back in, but it's also because I've found more value in purchasing and selectively playing my games one by one. And Game Pass can be a little overwhelming, but it's not because the service is like awful or anything like that. I've always thought it was great. So what do you guys think of this, knowing that millions of subscribers were lost by this? Hit me with it.
It's funny, Cog brought this up earlier. He's saying how many people, lower their subscription price. Pretty much nobody, but they did. So I wonder if it was like really bad, like really, really, really bad, where they're like, oh shit. We can't because they raise their subscriptions. People do. They're going to lose people. This happens to every subscription service. People bow out, but they make up that money about people that stay. They have enough people that stay, so it's okay. But it's like, dude, maybe this was like even worse than we thought or something like that. I mean, thank God they did. That's great. I'm really happy they did, but damn, it must have been real bad for them to do that as quickly as they did.
Yeah, 1000%. I listened to a little bit of snippet of the Matthew Ball interview with Christopher Dring in the game business. Shout out to him, he's doing a good job. Yeah, but I didn't even realize it was bad. It is, and how I have to look at it is Maddie was the inflection point. Maddie, this
don't say that.
No, in a good way, way. That was the day I remember that Duke like it was yesterday. I was like, we've lost Maddie. No, seriously, I was like, we've lost him. As a hardcore Xbox fan, that was the moment y'all was like, get the F out of here with this 50% increase. Like, how dare you? How dare you, Xbox, raise the price that much? And this was the only thing, few remaining things you had good going for you as a person who likes the platform. The few people say, because remember, the consensus at that time was like, all right, yeah, they do some things agree, but yeah, Game Pass, the best deal of gaming. I get a chance to get all these games, I get a chance to do all this stuff. And people say, you're going to raise this 50%? And not to see that it was not just lip service. He said they shed millions of subscribers. And remember, we recorded the subsequent Duke, Maddie. They broke the unsubscribe site. Remember the Game Pass unsubscribe? They broke the site. People were coming in droves to be like, I'm good on you. And I know it's anecdotal, but like I look at Lords of Gaming, the tremendous writers that we have, right? A lot. Shout out to the Flame. Shout out to the Arcade. Those were the dude. They would kind of be like, I'm subscribed. I'm done with that. I don't care what they talking about. This is egregious. That
and it came right after studio shutdowns and layoffs, right? So it was also like you could see they were cutting costs and then being like, "We're going to make it up on you," and it just felt. And then there was also the whole Phil letter. That's the one that sent me over to the edge of like, we're doing better than we ever have before. I'm like, bro, fuck you. Like, hell no.
That's what everybody felt. It was a unified front that we do not approve of this. And you're feeling yourself, buddy, especially when you had the nerve to not only do this with the Game Pass, you did 2 subsequent console price increases as well.
Oh, yeah.
So now me as the hardcore guy, I'm like, who's going to afford this hobby that I love or the platform I love? Who is this for? We have now become country club gaming.
We really have, yeah.
Who's this for? And I'm like, they're not getting anybody to the platform. So to see that the initial regime, this new regime, immediately slashes it, and they see such a positive growth immediately by doing that one singular move, says how bad the initial move was for the pass regime, for sure.
Yeah. Especially because what's the new price is still a price increase at the end of the day. It's just
Right.
not as bad as where
Yeah.
it once was.
Yeah.
Brad, do you have any additional thoughts on the Game Pass subs and how many were lost after the price hike?
Well, I kind of talked about it earlier, but I was just like, man, yeah, it must have
Okay.
been super fucking rough for them to do that.
Yeah.
Have to switch it back. I'm glad they did though. It's great.
I
They
agree.
do that W. I just wonder if like how many people aren't going to come back though still or whatever. They were just so burned. They're like, all right, I'm good on PlayStation or whatever. Oh, I guess Maddie's like a great example. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm good on Steam, whatever, Nintendo.
It just made me realize my playing habits don't align with it. And like,
Yeah.
that's the thing when you have a great price and like you got me in the system, like I wasn't really thinking about it, but like, you know, I pulled out of that shit and I was just like, post Game Pass clarity.
Yes. Yes.
It's just like, whoa, what am I doing?
No, real talk.
How am I
right?
playing? You know?
And that's the damage. When we talk about brand damage, there's still going to be many players that will never come back as a result, even after the thing. That's how damaging it was.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. They need to think of it like a sports team. They need to go on a run. And by a run, I'm talking PlayStation 4 type run. Like it needs to be seemingly endless, which is what that was almost exactly. Like it was just a generation to be remembered, incredible games, setting standards, nothing could miss, utmost confidence, good pricing. Everything was going well for them. They need that. They really do. They can't afford to do anything less. Let's shift into more exciting territory. We've talked business for 2 hours here. We have more business at the end of this all. Let's talk games.
Yeah.
Fable. 30 minutes of gameplay as we record this today. Focusing on the extraordinary life. They showed a little bit of combat at the end, by the way. What is that? That's the combat they've been hiding? That shit looks incredible. I was like, I saw it. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, I was so off base with like, I wonder what, the combat looks a little stiff. Maybe Witcher 3. Oh, dude, I was so wrong. I'm like, this is the combat you've been hiding? This looks really, really good. But most of this gameplay was just living the daily life in Fable. The reactivity, the reputation system, going on a date, getting a job, buying some property, buying your own business, collecting money from the income chest. That beautiful Fable loop. So, gentlemen, we took some time to watch it. We have some write-ins as well about the latest trailer, but I want to talk a little bit about this new big batch of gameplay here. What did you guys think of what you saw?
Start with Brad. I'm curious.
Oh, okay.
Brad,
I was very pleased.
Are you in? You buying a Series
No,
X?
yeah,
for this?
I'm in. I'm very pleased. No, I'm not buying an Xbox for this. I already got one, but
you got your PC. You got your.
I got
Helix.
my PC. Yeah, I got that. So, I was very happy with what I saw. This is what I've been wanting to see from this game for years. Where I'm like, just give me like raw, uncut gameplay, at least for like 5 minutes. Let me get a feel for the game instead of just quick cut trailers all the time. And this was like a deep dive into the game, actually. And I'm like, okay, this is good. I am liking what I'm seeing. I was really impressed with like how much you could do. I love the concept of buying a place, then finding like they had like the beggar guy or whatever, the guy that had no job, and hiring him to run that establishment and stuff like that. I'm like, this is really cool. I love all this kind of stuff. This is what I wanted from Fable. And the combat, I think I'm not as high on you, Maddie, but I think it's good enough where I'm like, okay, this is acceptable combat like that. It's going to depend how it feels to me when I'm playing it more so. But I liked the magic they were using in combat and all that kind of stuff, like lifting guys up. Super fun. Really dug it. It looks beautiful. I love the vibe
Teleport
of the
slash.
town.
Can we talk about the zipping behind someone, just right behind them, cut them down?
Yeah, doing the anime dashes and all that stuff. Yeah, like him getting like a job or whatever, taking a shift at the blacksmith. That's like Kingdom Come stuff. So I'm all about that right there. That was good shit. But yeah, I was super pleased with what I saw about the game. I'm not nearly as worried about it as I was before. The only thing I'm still bummed about is apparently like your appearance not changing depending on stuff you do. If you're a good boy or bad boy kind of thing going on like there. I think it's cool to have a more gray area, I suppose, for choices instead of having just the full renegade or paragon thing going on. I always appreciate that. But I do. But hopefully, maybe you'll get some cooler armor depending on your reputation or something like that. Maybe that's how they'll handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
So,
I'd
if
like
you're like
that.
a evil, you have bad reputation, you can get like all black plate mail or something like that. I don't know. But
Mm.
I
yeah.
really dug what I saw of it. I was like thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe they should have showed a quest or something like that. I mean, there's still plenty of time for things like that. But what they
Sure.
showed here, this whole like talking pig thing going on, like, what do you want to do with this
They
guy?
have Colin.
Yeah,
We had Colin in it.
yeah. I was like,
Forgot
okay,
that's
yeah.
I was laughing at the name, sorry.
It looks really good, so I'm really pleased with it. Fable was already my like most hyped game for them because I like the old Fable
Mhm.
games. Well, 1 and 2 I like a lot. So seeing this, the new direction that's going, I think this could be, that game that gets them a Game of the Year nominee that they seemingly don't get very often. So well
There we go.
done, Playground. This looks awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Cog, your thoughts on the new 30 minutes of Fable gameplay?
Yeah, woke up to this one, got late, and I'm like, all right, you're outside. Let's see what you do. And first off the bat, game looks stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the horse. I'm looking at the animations. I'm looking at the sword on his back while he's walking. The strings moving individually. Character model looked great. I thought it was a great choice to show from another character model, the male perspective. Like you can create your own. I
Yeah.
think that's gonna
Yeah,
silence
fair.
all the griff lords will be satisfied. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. But, the first thing off the bat that I really appreciated was them going through, like Brad said, a full walkthrough, no damn quick cuts, because to
Mm-hmm.
me, that showed fear. And I think I figured out why. In my opinion, now, as great as this game looks and as beautiful and gorgeous it is, it felt 30 frames per second to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not mad because I look at this game, I'm like, no one's doing what you're doing. I come from the Baldur's Gate, the KCDs and stuff like that. And granted, you know, in each town, you'll have a subsequent amount of NPCs that will have that full dialogue tree and branch, and it'll get very immersive, very detailed. Fable is saying everybody you can interact with. Now, it may not be as detailed as the Baldur's Gate, the Kingdom Come delivers as far as the conversation trees and the choices and all that stuff. But the fact that everyone has their own life, their own, it's giving me dogma, but even more so. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that, like you said, you talk to the beggar, everyone has their own view of you, how you interact. Then you can actually do things that'll affect that relationship. I love that then you can make him, work for you at the tavern that you bought and stuff like that. I love the quality of life with the owner's chest inside the bottom of any establishment that you own, and you don't have to just go to one area. You know what I'm saying? You can basically, they're giving you a little bit more quality life and freedom with that aspect of all these things in townships and stuff that you bought. Also, Romance Bros, we eating. We're eating, bro.
Yeah,
We
Maddie's
could
not
get it
happy.
on. We could get it on. Who we want to get it on with. Also, it ain't easy. Yo, she was like, look, man, I like a refined gentleman with wears this fancy
Oh, she
jewelry.
like more than that, bro. She wanted your money. She was gold
Whoa.
digging. It was crazy.
She was gold digging like crazy. Then
Yeah.
you had to, work those check boxes, things like that. The fact that everything influences everything. And then I did get a little bit of questioning with the Colin the pig situation.
Mhm.
I wanted to know if it would have went left, if you would have not spared him, or if you would have spared him and chose the money route, didn't have the money. What happens then? Like
Yeah.
all this stuff is so cool. And then to Maddie's point, we get the culmination of all of this to the end. I didn't think they were going to show combat. I lost my mind when he did that spell, had like 4 or 5 people hovering in the air. Then he did the little like barrier shield thing, glowed up, the teleport behind. I'm like, and then what I was laughing at, man? Every time you killer, he's a killer. Killer plus one, everything is it's showing you the visible representation of using those antidotes and those stats and how it's constantly evolving. And yeah, with the last point, it's just like, that was that one town, right? And I understand it's controversial to what you're saying, Brad, about the morale system. And yes, it would have been super dope to have the evil horns and all that. But I do like the realism in the sense that, okay, word of mouth realistically would only spread in that said town. And then, like, how would the rest of the world know you're this evil thing when you first step on the town that's not Sherwood? So I understand the design decision from a gameplay, and maybe there's a happy medium where they give you some form of an armor, or they really make you lean into, because they hinted evil at the end. Because I can tell they wanted to do a virtuous playthrough for this one, right? And then they showed you how like people can have resentment for certain things based on the opposite actions that were not taken or whatever. So I think this is one of easily the most ambitious game. I'm so happy it is 2027. I'm so happy Fable gets to shine on its own away from the madness of September. I will say, walking out of this, I'm like, okay, Playground, you're showing me. You're showing me. You're on your way. Now you just gotta land the plane. But this looks so good, man. I was blown away. This, yeah, wow. Fable. I'm all in. February can't get in here soon enough.
Yeah, me too. I think it looks really, really good. I mean, I'll actually just build off this writing we got here. Everything Ebby1 writes. Greetings, Dukes of the Dastardly Deed. Is it just me, or did that tonal shift in the latest Fable trailer get crazy dark? I was getting some serious Game of Thrones vibes. Also, that Jack of Blades reveal at the end was crazy. What do you think they're going to do with that exactly? The game can't exactly be a reboot now that it's calling back to the OG lore. My interest in this game has been fully revitalized. Thanks, and have a, if this new Fable ends up being disappointing, I'll be chasing some chickens up Matt's booty type of day. Thank you for the write-in. And I think what we've really seen in these last couple of days is the full range of Fable. And there's just a lot here. Like you look at the initial trailers and the office style of shooting some of the in-game cinematics, and you kind of get an idea of the humor. Now we get to see the darker side of it and how this thing can shift to a much more gritty place like Fable has done before, specifically Fable 1. And that adds a lot to the game. You can see that they really studied what worked well from the social gameplay of Fable 2 while taking the Fable 1 story beats and elements and really leaning into those. And then here, with this newest gameplay, you get to kind of just see the casual day-to-day life and then how that's evolved since the original. So it looks incredible. So incredible that, as I said at the start of our show, it's frustrating that this shit is coming out in February. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I know that if this was like their plan was like, we're going to hit them hard with 30 minutes of gameplay. This trailer is amazing. Got our villain set up, Jack of Blades reveal. We'll see you in November. Like, that would have been a moment, bro. I mean, it was a moment still. I'm not trying to rock with it, but like, but it really looks exceptional. I agree with you guys. The visual representation, I don't know. I see some people downplaying it still. It's a little back and forth. And I think it's a conversation to be had about like, I prefer OG Fable style approach, not because I'm a nostalgia head, but just like, I think that is the identity of the series because that's what it has been for all three of its mainline entries, which is like, you do evil things. There's a representation on your character of that evil deed. There is a little bit of that. If anyone's played Fallout 3 and gone for like the platinum, they know this, but like Fallout 3 has karma. And in that game, when you make certain choices, your morality will swing like a pendulum. There are certain repeatable actions or things that you can do to undo that, such as going to a homeless guy outside of Ribbit City. And if you have a bunch of purified waters, which are not difficult to get, you can just keep giving to them, and then you'll have like the highest level of karma. So when you were going for the trophies, like the trophies were built around like be at level 8 with lowest karma or highest karma. So, it was easy to just sink your karma by shooting a bunch of people. It was easy to raise it by just giving this dude water. So for every trophy gate, you would just kind of hit that level or just before it, and then you would just use those gimmicks. I noticed a little bit of that gimmicky shit here in the morality for the reputation, I should say. Like, there was always a way out of everything. So what I am curious about is the permanence this game will offer, which they didn't really show here, like with the Colin the Pig stuff. Like I wanted to see more of that. Because it seemed like the reputation system, it's like just whatever you want to be. Like you want someone to like you, you can do X, Y, and Z, and that's good. Like it's reacting to those systems. But then there was like pay the town crier to be whatever you want, and it was just easy to kind of like send that thing up and down the ladder. It gives the player a lot of power, so I don't think I'm not complaining about it, but it's just like I think that's totally fine. But then the choice and consequence for the story, I think, needs to be pretty hefty, which it seems like what we saw at Developer Direct, it will be that. They said there's like, they showed if you chose this evil path, like there was a dead character, that giant, like in the middle of the.
I love that.
So, I really think they're going to do it, but I'm just kind of emphasizing the perspective I have on it. But I mean, from the daily sim kind of life game, not sim life, I'm kind of just that life simulator gameplay. That was just pure Fable 2 in a good way. I mean, like that was awesome. Just manipulating the people around me, being able to date anyone, being able to buy anything. And I was really impressed with how the game looked, like you guys mentioned, visually, the interiors especially, just walking into the general store and just all the detail in that environment. I mean, the thing that's not really being talked about a lot this past week, and I don't mean this in a console war place, but Xbox had like visually the best looking games this week, I think, between Fable and Gears of War. These games looked fucking stunning, dude. Like really, really good. The only drawback Fable had, and I don't care, I know other people will, facial animations were kind of ass, you know, when they were like in the non-cinematic stuff, when they were just talking. Right. It was stiff. Again, to me, I'm like, whatever, dude. This is a huge game. There's a million other things going on here. I don't know. I don't need everyone to look lifelike and behave as such. But I also grew up on janky Bioware RPGs, so what do I know?
Do you think?
But I thought this looked excellent.
Do you think it's going to be 30 FPS on console?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I just think so, bro. It's just so much going on.
Unless,
man. Like,
I mean, Forza found a way to 60, right? So
I mean, look, if they have a performance mode, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? It just again, I just because what I'm looking at is the reactivity, and once towards the end of the playthrough, when he started being malicious and shooting the arrows at people and doing like evil things, and then more guards kept coming and more guards kept coming. I'm just worrying how, like, with systems this complex, how you can break this game, and then I just worry about a Dragon's Dogma situation when that CPU starts to tank because it's just so many individual systems layered upon each other. How does that work? So I looked at it, I was like, this looked 30. Even when he was running, I was like, yeah, you notice everything was slow.
The Starfield 30.
Yeah, like kind of thing. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there is a performance mode, but I will say, PC boys, get ready. I think you guys are going to eat with your super dope rigs, but us console plebs, we might have to be stuck in third. And I look, for a game like this, what Maddie's called like a life simulator and things like that, I'm willing, because I like that the ambition is rewarding to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
2 games in one, if that. And again, the reason that permanence matters is because just like Fable 1 or Fable 2, I want multiple reasons to replay the game.
Yes.
And I know I'm asking for a lot because this is a big open world Fable, but like, if the reputation could be what I want it to be, then it's about the story choices that really reinforce that.
Facts.
So if I'm an asshole and I'm killing people, obviously that's going to define me in those regions, of which we learned in this gameplay. There's 6 open world regions, which is like awesome. But it's like, I need that sort of those choices to count so that when I decide at the start of my playthrough, like, I'll be the biggest piece of shit. Like, speaking of which, dude, the little choices you could make, evicting tenants or choosing to pay them to leave, just the little things like that, like you could make the right choice. Like, I'm buying your property.
Yeah.
You will be leaving, but I'll give you a nice lump sum on your way out. People are like, you're kind of a nice guy. Or you could be like, fuck out of here, bro. Like,
he fired her old girl on the spot. I was like, yo,
she was so nice. And it's so funny. She was so nice and flirty with him. He could have started a relationship on the spot with her, fires her, and she's immediately like, you're gonna fucking regret this. Like, complete tone switch. And then she turns into Susan the beggar. I'm like, this game's amazing, dude. Like, so good. So good.
Last point. I just want to, you nailed this part about, well, I don't say that I felt the way about it, but I do hope there is permanence in this. Like, if I murder the whole town, I don't just want to go to the town crier and sing songs about me and everyone's going to forget about my murderous ways. I want some permanence. Again, not saying that it doesn't have it, but I would like there to be a permanence limit at the top where it's like, all right, you just did so much. I don't know if that's repairable, even if you haven't visited town for a long time. I want there to be some stakes to get the playthroughs.
Yeah. It seemed like at the end that the guards kept coming if you attack the town. Like, you can't kill everybody. Yeah. And that's a little disappointing, I would say, because it means that you leave the town, you have the bounty, you have the fine. Other towns are not going to be influenced by that, as we already know. They all have their own distinct view of you. So you can go wherever, get your money, come back, pay the fine, pay the bounty or whatever, and then pay the town crier. We didn't see how much it would be, so we don't know how easy
it could be absorbent.
You could throw a ton of money at this, and everyone in that town would love you again.
Right? Yeah, that part
it's a little crazy.
Yeah, that was like, again, just
like this guy came in, murked our whole town, paid off the town crier, and everyone just bit into this guy's news, and like that's just it. Like, perfect.
Yeah. I agree. I think it'd be cool if you can maybe pay them off once, But then if you do it
Like a
again,
limit.
it's like, nah.
Yeah.
But I agree, there needs to be
Charges
some
you more each
permanence.
time you have to use it. That could be cool too.
Yeah, you need it. Like you need to have that from software moment. I always love this when like you kill an NPC, they're dead. That's it.
Yeah.
You lose out if
Yep.
they're selling stuff. You miss out on their quest line. I love
Yes.
that kind of shit.
Learned
Hell
a lot of valuable lessons with Dark Souls 1 in
Yeah.
my high school days. You know, just I hit R1 by accident. And they're like, "How dare you?" And they come
Yes.
at you. I'm like, "Oh
You
fuck."
fiend. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they have good loot on them. I'm about to kill your ass because there's no
Yeah.
save to reload either.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
get they're going for, more probably mass market with this game like that. They want it to be way more popular
Mhm.
and accessible for that kind of thing. I think that's fine, but I just hope
Yeah.
there is there's a catch to your actions more so than just me grinding gold
Yeah.
out and paying everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Facts.
Let's turn our attention to our favorite franchise, Halo. Campaign Evolved got a ton of gameplay as we record today as well, which was really nice to see. Xbox kind of took a different route. Normally they do like they did the post Xbox showcase, which was like kind of a little bonus thing with interviews. They sometimes lean into the Xbox podcast stuff, but I like that there was like, here's a shit ton of gameplay. Here you go. They showed off 28 minutes of the assault on the control room mission, which is the 5th mission in Halo Combat Evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we got the new prequel mission trailers for this game. They also had a third-person mode trailer, so you could see Halo Combat Evolved in third person, which is based on a skull. Which, speaking of which, they also made another trailer, which came out today, showcasing a lot of those skulls. You can get 60 rounds in your mag now, which is a big deal for Halo purists. You can turn on the happy birthday thing so you can headshot grunts and hear the yay. There's a campaign remix mode which auto picks the skulls for you. This basically turns Halo Combat Evolved into a randomizer, which was awesome. They had like hunters in the middle, like they had flood in levels they weren't supposed to be in. It really I was like, this looks fun as fuck, dude. Like I can't lie. We got it right in here from Phil, and I want to kick it to you guys. He says, coming in late, Dukes, but the new Halo media Xbox just released looks incredible. No one is a bigger doubter than me. No one has hated on 343 more than me. But I think they might have done it. Sure, the visuals look a little blown out, but it looks vibrant and chaotic and fun. It feels like they have really understood the assignment. Give us a brand new Halo Combat Evolved sandbox to mess around in. Thank you, Phil, for your writing. Tog, our thoughts on Campaign Evolved.
I can talk about this now that it's out
Talk
there.
about it. Yeah, come
So
on.
yeah, I've been playing. I played this whole level multiple times.
Multiple. Oh, this guy. Okay.
Salta Control Room. And look, you know the history, Maddie. This is the game I'm like, this ain't for me. I don't think I need this. Easy cash grab. I'm not the target audience. This is really a PlayStation, get people used to, Halo, and that's it. And I just came into it that. And then obviously no multiplayer. So I kind of like, what is it for? As the news started to ramp up, and then you're like, okay, Sergeant Johnson prequel missions. And then we saw it at the showcase, and we're like, ooh, okay, this looks good. The Unreal Engine 5. I remember the earlier version I played of this, I was like, it's a little rough on on the performance. They gotta work on those kinks. I am happy to report. Performance mode was in the demo that I played. It looks dramatically better. This is what I do to game one for me. I know this level front to back. Play a lot of Assault to Control Room. The simple variance in adding the flood in this area, as well as the design and the way enemies look, feel, and react, is a game changer. It makes every encounter different. Then the fact that Halo 1, you couldn't hijack vehicles. When the grunts were next to turrets, you couldn't interact with that. Now you have the modern sensibilities to be able to interact with these things. Then I'm not gonna lie, what a thing that I was worried about actually feels the best. Obviously, we notice things with ADS and modern, what you call sprinting feels amazing, but adding Halo Infinite, brute pistols or the Covenant, weapons and stuff that were more later in Infinite, bro, it feels so good having these weapons in here. And it didn't take away from the experience. It didn't make the experience feel weird. It just felt good. But when you see the flood and you're fighting them and they're on attached to the heads of UNSC soldiers. and they're leaping at you, doing different animations. You see them on Covenant soldiers. You're seeing hunters. Bro, it adds to the experience. It's just enough where it kept the classic feel, but it's modernized with a little bit of the newer sensibilities that make sense in this world based on all the Halos we played subsequently. I see the SMG. Now I can't confirm if they was dual wielding or not. I'm gonna assume not, because I just picked up one solo SMG from Halo that was initially a Halo 2 weapon. Bro, the game feels amazing. The cinematics feels great. Look, I've been slanderous, and rightfully so. But this was the one that I'm like, you can't mess up. This is your Mass Effect Legendary Edition moment. You've got the foundation there. But so far, what I have played, I was like, okay, all right, Halo Studios. This so far is good. We'll see if they land the plane with all the rest of the missions in the field. Obviously, Solid Cartographer, which is also part of this. They made some little changes here and there, but it looks good. It plays good. It is something I didn't realize I needed, and I will be there to rock out. And
Nice.
I'm coming around. I'm coming around. That's what I will say.
Okay. Brad, did you feel anything watching this?
I also did play this.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
At the Xbox event, and I played it on a PlayStation 5.
Oh no!
They said they're like, we have PC, we have Xbox, and PlayStation. It was on a PlayStation 5 dev kit, just to be clear. And I was like, I'm gonna play on PlayStation. This is fucking crazy. So I played it on there, and I haven't played through Halo 1 since before 3 came out. So it's been a really long time for me. But I was like, man, this is fun as fuck. It's been so long, and I forgot how fun this is. Dude, getting in the tank, was it called like the Scorpion or something? Holy moly, dude. Just blasting a Covenant ship out of the sky, watching them fly out is the kind of shit where I'm like remembering, like, whoa, this is why Halo is sick, because of things like this. And I had such a good time replaying it through that whole level. The swords are new. Are the swords are new? The elite swords? Those were in the first.
Those never in the original.
Halo 2.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I was gonna say, I don't remember them being in here, but man, it feels good to be back. I love the idea. They're talking about this, Maddie. The game. I think it was the director talking to us about it. The skulls being in there and the randomizer mode. I thought that was really cool, really interesting. I didn't know about that at all. I was like, damn, that's sick. I'm not like a huge Halo head. Like, I've played pretty much all of them. I finished all of them except 5 is the only one I haven't finished. But I was like, dude.
You're okay, bro. Yeah. You're good. Don't worry.
I mean, I don't feel like I missed much. It doesn't matter. They just abandoned stories every other game, so it doesn't matter.
No, you're good. You're good, bro. Yeah.
But I was really happy with what I played. Obviously, I wish there was a multiplayer, to get those old feelings again. But I thought it was a really good time, man. I was like, okay, maybe I'll be suiting up with the Chief. It's been a long time. I'm really interested in the new missions they've added. I think that's a really cool thing.
They didn't show what was going to be playable, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, they didn't show
that. I'm glad
they
kind of kept that under wraps.
Yeah, they're keeping that under wraps.
Yeah,
they said it's like separate missions, like a separate thing on the menu, so you could just kind of click those missions. They recommend playing through the original game first, but
yes,
instead of hopping in there right away, because it'll probably be harder in the beginning of the game. But yeah, man, I liked what I played. I was like, okay, this is great,
awesome.
Yeah, just to add on real quick, Maddie, because also I want to give credit to the UNSC soldier interactions and movements. I had guys that had rocket launchers. They jump in my Warhawk side, on passenger side, doing stuff. That's what makes Halo feel that scale war. And it's like Brad said, like, the beauty of Halo is that you're in this sandbox, but with limited resources. So it's like, you don't have weapons. You pick up the gun off the floor, and that's your next weapon and stuff like that. I thought that was done well. I have to comment on 1-2 little things though that they gotta fix. This was the first time I played it, Campaign Evolved, in co-op. Me and Attic were playing together. Co-op experience is fun. It's great. My only issue is, again, it may have been a glitch in it. Obviously, I played a demo version. They did say there are bugs, but I have to mention it. I did have a desync issue. You know how it is, the old cheat. You play with your homie. If one person dies, you're like, yo, go back where there's no enemies on the radar so I could spawn in instantly. That was working. But what would happen is sometimes if we both died and then the level would have to reload at the last checkpoint, it was like a desync issue where it would go a black screen on my screen and the host was fine, but I I was like, bro, I'm still in the black screen. You're in the match. And he was like, all right, let's just end it. And so I have to mention, there's still a little bit of polish that we have to get towards the end. But overall, performance mode, and I played it on Series X console, was impressive. And and the new cinematics when the levels start, stuff like that was really cool. So I just wanted to get that out as a caveat to the things that I did experience that still need a little bit of work.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys both liked it. That's very encouraging because what I saw, starting with the trailer and kind of moving into this preview, I was like, okay, this looks good. Fun factor wise, I'm not really sold on Halo Unreal Engine. I'm curious what first what I saw in the trailer and the gameplay versus what you guys played. Like, did you guys feel like art style wise, visually, were you happy with what the image on screen was? Not that I'm looking at, I'll explain my thoughts in a little bit. Not that I was unhappy.
Sure.
I'm just curious what you guys felt while playing it.
So I would consider myself a casual Halo fan. So all like the little nicks here and there, maybe I won't notice. Like, remember like the level design was like a big discussion about this kind of game. I personally probably won't notice that stuff because I just don't know the game that well.
Sure.
But based off that, I thought everything seemed fine visually, like art direction, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Cog, what about you?
Funny you asked. So as a result of me playing this and having fun and loving this new experience, I was like, okay, certain aspects of Unreal is shinier, it looks nice. I did say, let me fire up Master Chief Collection.
Oh, Miss Fancy. I love that. Yeah.
You know how we got to do, man. A professional podcast. I said, let me do Assault of Control Room in the original. I will say, this is going to be controversial. There is still a level of cleanliness and sharpness that I do still like from the original. I don't know what it is. It feels a little bit more grittier as opposed to this a little bit more glossier. You know what I'm saying? So I do like the art style of Master Chief Collection slightly better. Not saying it's graphically better, but it just, I don't know, just a more grounded, rigid feel.
Sure.
But this is where all that ends. Once there was no ADS, once there was no sprint, once where there was no new weapons, once there was none, I was like, you look clean, you got the essence of it, but I'm gonna play campaign involved. Like, that's more fun. That's what it felt to me. So that's what's the difference. There's gonna be a component of people that's gonna love the purity of the original engine, and I get that. But this game and this sandbox and what Brad's talking about is just more funny. I want all that new stuff, and I think it's the better overall experience, provided they land the plane with performance all the way through, right? I'm gonna be enjoying and playing this one back more.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that was the only thing I had like a critique of when watching. I was like, this looks really fun. And what I loved is while I had my very minor critique about Assault or Silent Cartographer and like little level changes they made, what I loved in watching the full footage of Assault on the Control Room is I'm like, oh, it's just a remake of this level. Like, they didn't really. I mean, I've played this game so many times, and granted, I'll say this one thing to give myself an out. I watched this while I was in the shower. So I have a little shower case. And so I could have had a little soap in my eye, or I could have, so to be fair, I did not watch this at my computer setup where I was locked in. I was trying to 2 birds, 1 stone as we were getting ready for our show. So yeah, I didn't watch it full, like, I'm glued to my screen, but everything I saw, I was like, yeah, like this looks like just a remake of the level, which is what I want for the most part. I don't want these creative liberties being embraced too much. Like what they're doing with skulls and whatnot is awesome. I like, for example, third person being added in. I will never play Halo that way, but I do like that this is here for people who maybe want to see Chief that way, or they prefer games that way, whatever it may be. I think it's cool in the same way that Call of Duty used to have a third person mode, and it was just there, and no one really played the third person ladders on the playlist like in MW2. But I like to fuck around with it at times. Like that was cool. So yeah, it just had a fun factor. The lighting in particular, I think, was the main problem I had with the art style. I think the visuals themselves are fine. There is a level of cleanliness though that like Cog like perfectly put. Like the level of just like everything looks so perfect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of maybe that could add to it. We'll see when I play and experience the campaign of sort of like this emulation of life that is the Halo ring, but it also is the way the materials look and whatnot. But the way the lighting is, there are some levels like Assault on the Control Room and now also one of the prequel missions where it's this kind of like fluorescent jungle.
Mhm.
The lighting's just fucking blown out. It's just like like it's bright. It's bright, bright. And that makes me wonder, maybe not so much for those levels, like maybe that works for those levels.
Mhm.
When you get to like 343 Guilty Spark, the level after Assault on Control Room,
Mhm.
it's very like literally narratively dark, but also
Yeah.
like visibly dark. Like,
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Yeah, for sure.
So
But they've passed the flood test to me. The
flood
flood,
design looks good. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
bro.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
couldn't have imagined it any better, and
yeah.
it was so good. I was like, "Are these new enemy types? What is this?" I had to go back. I'm
Mm,
like, "Yo, the flood never looked like this." It really feels like they have dominated the soldiers, UNSC soldier, and the Covenant troops that they have taken over and making them a more powerful being and react differently. They are truly terrifying, at least on heroic difficulty and higher, when they're on the battlefield. You have to
nice.
pay account for it. Here's the thing: if you do not take care of them, they will get into the stationist there, and then they'll start pumping out more flood members and stuff. Like it gets, you have to
Mm.
take account of where they are on the battlefield, and it felt so good.
I really got a kick out of when I was watching the gameplay that they posted. You gave like one of the weapons, like you give like a rocket launcher to one of the UNSC guys, and he's like, "Thanks, big dog." Like it just the little clips from the UNSC troopers in this game
Oh,
are so good. They've
so
done a
good.
really good job with the things they have added. And I don't the thing I'm trying to understand, I thought because I know like Steve
Mhm.
Downs, Jen Taylor are re-recording their lines. I don't know if that's the case for the rest of the games. So someone in the comments, please let me know. If it's not, whoever like redid some of like the UNSC voices, oh my god, they did a perfect fucking job. Down to the death, like the "Wah!" when you like blow them up, like that. They like even that. I was like, oh shit, dude, that gave me nightmares as a kid. He's like, I'd hated hearing that sound because it meant like I lost one of my troopers. Like I felt
Yeah.
that, like I had to
Yes.
restart the checkpoint from there. You know, so
Hell yeah.
yeah, like I just I want to know if that was a re-record or a reuse. Because if that was a re-record, whoever did that, keep that man for life. That dude did a great job.
Hilarious. And it just shows the expendable nature of them and how important they
Yeah,
are to the battle. It's an extra battle mechanic in the field with them.
yeah.
And one of the best moments in Halo is always, yo, all right, you got the sniper. I'm gonna put snipers on y'all. I'm gonna give
Mhm.
y'all and just kid them out. And then you coming through like you really got an RV
Yeah.
with you. It's just so dope.
One of the skulls I wanted to call out, and this is all I would have to say, was the one where you could just fly anywhere in the level. I just loved like that's straight up like it's your game, do what you want. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's like goofy
really
Game
cool.
Shark cheats at that point. I think that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. They're just totally embracing it. Cause the thing I'm thinking about is like, oh, they're gonna hide secrets in the level with this thing being active. Like I can't wait to see what people find. And like that's one of the fun things about Halo was like, Bungie was gonna tuck secrets in like every corner level, which is why people were like rocket jumping and whatnot. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm pumped, dude. I really have to say it's shaping up. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the visuals, but the fun factor seems way higher, and that's
Yeah.
what I care about more. So very interested. Gears E-Day. One little bit of news here. Actually, let me change how I'm going to write this because I don't want to say the exact length in case people don't want to know here. Let me just change this. Gears of War E-Day is the longest campaign yet. Obviously, we know most of these campaigns float around 10-hour mark, but this is according to the Coalition to be beyond that. And it's longer than any campaign that they have built. It has more collectibles than any campaign before as well, including classic cog tags. So how do you guys feel about this one? Hearing that it's a big Gears game, because I think Gears 5 was, like pretty massive when you really think about it. Like, does this excite you knowing that we're going to get a lot of Dom and Marcus compared to the past?
Yeah, I mean, I just love where they're going with it.
Mm.
I didn't know how much we would get. Obviously, it's been a long time since we've seen the coalition. So, if they were to give me like a 10-hour, maybe I felt the way or something like that. But I'm indifferent in the sense that, like, I just like the tonal shift. I just like where they're going with it.
Mhm.
So that's really all I care about. The hours is not too much of an issue for me. But now that I know, like, okay, it's going to be 14, they're really going for it. I just want proper callbacks. I want links to, again, as a Gears Tactics fan, I would love some type of links and lore stuff that's going to tie in, Gabe and some of those characters that I like there. I know that's asking a lot, but just preserve the lore, preserve the feel and the gameplay. I'm cool with the length of hours. I don't really have too much negative pushback on this, but I'm curious where you guys are with this.
The length for me, I mean, I think it's cool that it's a longer game. That's cool. It just, to me, it just depends if it justifies the length. That's the most important thing to me. If it was like, this is the shortest Gears of War campaign, I'd be like, okay, what you cooking for so long that it's the shortest, but you've been doing this for a while, so I guess it makes sense that it's the longest. But yeah, it just depends on the quality of the campaign. So that's all that matters to me.
I was personally pretty happy to see this, just because for me, there is a level of the longer you wait, the more I'm hoping to get out of it. And so between that, multiplayer, horde, like, cool. This is the full package, and more collectibles. Like, all this sounds really great. So personally, that it pumped me up a little bit, knowing like, okay, they've really been spending time and making this like something worth the wait. So I can't wait. I think this looks excellent, but just wanted to let people know, longest campaign yet in the franchise is on the way, October 6th.
Nice.
Now, for those of you who are interested in any of the 3 games we've talked about thus far, Halo, Gears, or Fable, premium editions await you, and you should know what's within them all, because it does crack open conversation on how Xbox is handling the release of their games. All right, so for Halo Campaign Evolved, if you were to get the premium edition, you would get 5 days of early access, which begins July 23rd, as originally leaked. The classic 2001 Mark V armor skin, 2001 assault rifle skin, the Gilded Onyx armor style, and the Gilded Onyx assault rifle style. Premium edition upgrade will also include Alpha Halo Armory Pack featuring 5 Master Chief armor skins and 6 weapon skins, the Art of Halo Campaign Evolved digital art book, the Halo Hungry Buzzards digital short story, and a digital game manual. Meanwhile, Gears of War E-Day. If you get the premium edition, you get 5 days of early access once more. The Bravo Squad signature weapon pack, the Emergence customization pack, including 2 character skins, 2 character poses, and 2 weapon skin sets, and more. 4 seasonal customization packs to be made available as released, and 1,000 iron, which is an in-game currency. Meanwhile, for Fable, once more, 5 days of early access. But also, if you get the premium edition, you also get the Splendid Armor cosmetic outfit, the Bastard Armor cosmetic outfit. So there are some sort of morality-based armor here. I don't know if it's sort of if you're getting them via pre-order, it seems like it doesn't matter what your reputation is. But it also confirms a post-launch expansion called Fable Order of the Hero. So that is also something that is on the way. As you see here, though, they are embracing all of the early access here. And all 3 of these games get a collector's edition as well, which was a very pleasant surprise. I really didn't think they'd do this. Halo Campaign Evolved gets one. It comes with a Master Chief statue that the only negative thing I have to say about this game right now is this statue looks like dog shit. Gears of War E-Day also gets a statue plus a steel book. It also gets the COG necklace. It comes in a nice box. It's got like a picture of Marcus, Dom, and Marcus's Dom's brother as well, which I thought was really cool. The one that you saw in the developer direct. It seems like a very well thought out collector's edition. By the way, Halo also comes with a steel book and some digital goodies. And then Fable comes with the fucking awesome statue, the Jack of Blades statue. This shit got pre-ordered. Hardcover art book, steel book with that amazing Fable art, post-launch expansions I mentioned, all the other digital goodies. So I was just really happy to see him swing hard on physical after all this was said and done as well. Like we saw again with the physical a physical copy, sorry, but the new 25th anniversary Xbox, like, okay, they're doing that as well. So just a lot of physical goodies for Xbox fans, a lot of ways to express your excitement. But most importantly, you want to get in early, you're going to have to pay.
Yep.
Perhaps this is one of the new ways they're adjusting the business with Game Pass existing, is we have created these IP, specifically in one case, an exclusive you may want to get on early, just like you did with Forza Horizon 6. So, gentlemen, is there anything that catches your eyes with the early access premium editions or the collector's editions? Cog, I do want to start with you because I know we've talked a lot about early access, really starting with Hogwarts Legacy, and we said, watch out. Oh, yeah. Here it comes. And here it is.
Here it is. Yeah, we got it. Corporate Card's got to get the money back somehow. These are the ways. Monetizing the FOMO. Look, again, not that I'm like co-signing practices, that are bad for the industry or stuff like that, but they've got the data that gamers got FOMO. For gamers don't wait. And I think we saw early with Forza Horizon 5 how much it did for them on Steam and on console in terms of the amount of active users that were playing before the actual release date and before Game Pass. Here's the other thing. These are the things they're going to have to do to try to offset the cannibalization of Game Pass on the platform because Game Pass does take away from a retail copy that some people just wait for. So this is the way. Hey, we're gonna give you this statue. We're gonna give you this stuff. I will admit, it's refreshing to see only from the standpoint of Xboxes for the first time in a long time, valuing their core IPs by giving collector's edition. This is something I'm used to PlayStation and third party companies do. Like when you get the Ghost of Yota, like I got the whole roll up, bro. I was dead. Like it bring back that pride of your franchises. I like that. I like when I jump on launch the console and I got a dynamic theme of Forza Horizon 5, Gears E-Day. Like, let's get back to celebrating what makes you, and I'm for that. Now, granted, like, is to the letter of the law, it's slimy? Of course. You know what I'm saying? 5 days. Of course. Like, I'm not a fool. Like, I know what they're doing, but I'm going to sit there and say, like, you don't think people were like, bro, I didn't even know about this Jack Blaze statue. And Attic was like, bro, it's sold out already. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So it goes to show you it works. Gamers be talking, but when it's time, these practices they're succumbing to them and they have the data to show it. So all I will say is for the final thing is I do like the fact that there are post-launch support for Fable. I like that we're getting, Order of the Hero. That's pretty exciting to me. Gears E-Day, I'm all about that. And then, Halo, I probably won't. I think I agree with the statue, like, a little weird. But I do like the customizations for some of the Spartan armor stuff, and people are going to show that off when they're playing with their homies and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. This is where we are in this day and age.
Brad, what do you make of these premium editions, the early access buy-in?
I hate it, but I understand why it is done, and it makes complete financial sense for them to do it. Exactly as Cog said, it's a good way to offset Game Pass because you're going to get FOMO, people coming in like that. But I guess if like you're already in on the game already, it's cool, I guess. But it definitely is a tactic that works that I don't like, but they keep doing it for a reason. So it is what it is. The only one I would probably do it for is Fable, I guess. Because I guess Gears, like spoilers for Gears of War, I guess. Like I worry about spoilers and shit like that. I don't want, because I know people are going to be beating these games before they're even officially technically out now. So I always get annoyed about that. But yeah, I think the Fable one looks cool. I don't need a Jack of Blaze statue, but it does look cool. The Gear statue, I'm not really into that much. So, but yeah, I hate it, but I get it.
Yeah, I think out of all the shitty practices, pardon me, in our industry, early access and paying for it is one that I care for less. At first, like back when we didn't have a ton of shit going on, it was kind of like really like normal is what I'd say. It was like, oh, it's ready, like just release it. Because I was talking to Sega at that time. Sega really loved early access. I was like, dog, the game's ready. Like you don't have to do this whole 3 days thing. Like it was a little annoying. But now it's like, oh well, I've seen what comes with the territory of all these other practices. I'm like, oh, you want to pay a few extra bucks to get the game early, go right ahead. I think that's I think that leads to, if you've decided, you know what, like this is worth it to me, that is on you as a purchaser. And there are many people who want to wait, save that little extra money. I think the only thing that bums me a little bit is the risk of spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, with games like Fable, especially, it's like, I think they're going to get a lot of people because a lot of folks are going to be like, one scroll, there's a reel. Fuck.
Yeah. Because I'm going to get it now. They're going to be like, dude, Master Chief comes out of a portal in Fable. He gives you a battle rifle. It's going to be like, man, why did you say that?
Oh, no.
Like, I'm going to be mad, Maddie, when they do it for like something I'm like really into, like a franchise like spoilers, like Final Fantasy Part 3. I'm like, fuck. Now I gotta do it. I mean, I'd do it anyways because I would buy the best edition, most likely, anyways. Well, that's not
true.
They're
starting to learn how hype driven we are, bro. They know, like, oh, we have a big franchise.
The FOMO people talk, but when push comes to shove, they get out their wallets.
It just seems like very foolproof. It's like, okay, like this is going to lead to product abandonment. Like people are just going to wait. They're going to still buy it anyway, right? Like at least you'd think. I could be dead wrong. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like when I saw early access, I'm like, I'll just wait and save the money. I'm still going to
Sure.
play it though.
Yeah.
You're
So.
strong-willed man. You're strong-willed, baby. When it's their
Oh,
baby.
I'm not saying I do that for everything. No. I've caved.
We all have our
Many a
price.
time.
Yeah, we all have
Many
our
a time.
price.
I bend the knee to this tactic for sure. I admit it has full power over me. I'm just saying there are people who are stronger than me.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
God bless.
Well, they're the ones who are like, I'll buy it.
Not
I can't
us.
wait for whatever day it comes out, and they're good. All right. Couple other Xbox updates for y'all. Project Mara. It's been canceled. This has been a weird ride for this game, but here we have first the breakdown of what it was, so you know what you might be losing, and then a comment in an interview with studio head Dom Matthews. So Project Mara says they said it would be a real world and grounded representation of mental terror based on a real lived experience, accounts, and in-depth research. Our aim is to recreate the horrors of the mind as accurately and as realistically as possible. Project Mara will be an experimental title and a showcase of what could become a new storytelling medium. There was a point also they said it wasn't a game after this, which again, strange because it sounded like it was a game at first. So it was kind of in flux. And then here's the official comment as of this week. With the fact that we have the entire team working on this game being Senua, I suspect some people might ask what's happened to Project Mara, a previously announced horror title. I took the decision to not work on that any further. These decisions are never easy, but I did so to take the opportunity to have all the talent and expertise in the studio, all 85 creatives, working together to realize the potential of what Senua can be, end quote. This kind of piggybacks on something I'm noticing with a lot of teams like Yacht Club. I was watching Jason Schreier's video on it and kind of just hearing him break things down. And by the way, I love that he's doing YouTube now. Just awesome. Very smart.
He might
Very
as well monetize his own work. Yeah, because everyone else.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, like people already share your shit for free. Like, go make your bag. Like,
I had a discussion with him about it at Summer Games Fest, and it was literally saying that. Welcome to the.
Yeah, he's in our space now. There we go.
Crap, it was funny.
Yeah, but I was watching that video and he was talking a little bit about Yacht Club splitting off and doing multiple projects. And I think like a common thing, at least I can speak from experience, like we never gotten multiple projects, but like your eyes get bigger than your stomach all the time in game development. Like I think even some of the most measured fall a little prey to like, I think there's two extremes. There's people who go overly cautious, but there's a lot of people who are like, we could do this, and that because it's exciting. Creating things is exciting. And I think all these studios, a lot of these studios, sorry, I should say under Xbox, like Ninja Theory were like, we can do Project Mara and we can do Hellblade 2 and we can do, and like, I think a lot of teams are just learning one game at a time. And you can honestly get at those multiple games done in that same time span if you're just having the whole team focus on one thing and moving game after game just quickly into what you want to do next. So I think this is a good call, but also it's a shame, because Project Mara, I think this is a team that's ready-made for an amazing horror experience that would be truly unique. And so I hope they don't fully abandon that idea because I do think there's potential in it, or maybe they incorporate horror elements that they have studied for that project into whatever they do next, whether it's in Senua or a game afterwards. I hope they kind of explore horror because I think they would just, again, be such a great fit for that. But gentlemen, what do you make of Project Mara being officially canned?
I'm sorry, good, Brad.
No, I was just saying, I honestly forgot this existed. So
there you go.
It doesn't really affect me that much, I guess. I mean, I'm more happy that they're doing Senua. That's more interesting to me right now. You gotta write that ship first, I think. Then, like you're saying, then you can kind of branch off, I think.
Yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate because of them in conjunction with horror. That would have been a dope combination to see, but at the end of the day, I think the timing actually is pretty good because what the community has voiced very loudly from them is they don't want just experiences from Ninja Theory. They want games with core gameplay mechanics. And I think that is something that, especially with the Sentinel announcement, people seem to be really excited about. And then to your point, Maddie, in reference to, I look at them in comparison to Bungie. With Bungie, it got their eyes too big. Would say, "Hey, we're gonna have all these multiple projects. We're gonna incubate these stuff," and then you take your eye off the ball, off your quote unquote money maker, and then you reinvest in stuff, and those things don't work. Now your studio's in trouble. So I think they're starting to get their identity on who they are, And I'm happy the Absolute will have another shot with
Mhm.
true Hellblade 1 style combat and just leaning more into that. So selfishly, I'm about it. You know what I'm saying? And I like that they made that call.
Mm. Yeah, just very, very good call. Just easy to get wrapped up in that decision, though, to
Mhm.
go for multiple projects. But
Yep.
here's hoping they still explore horror down the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Last bit of news here: Blade still lives. There was a scare. There was a jump scare online. I don't know why there was a jump scare. I'm gonna be that guy. I don't know why there's a jump scare, guys. I mean, this team has talked about how they're still cooking up into the end of last year. They said December last year. Dinga Bakaba was on Twitter. He's like, "We're still working hard. Like, we're still going at it." But here comes Jeff Grubb, who got the Fable delay right, and said something that was misconstrued, and so he
Mm.
had to step out, clarify, and be like, "Whoa!" Like like he's like, "I just talked to people. Project's still alive." But then even the lead concept artist was like responding to people on Twitter who were like, "Are you still alive? Are you still okay? Is there a pulse?" Like, really checking in, and he just kept responding with gifs of Walter White saying, "Let us cook,"
Mm.
just over and over, which is exactly what Dinga Bakava said on stage after the game was announced. He was like, "Let us cook." Like, he's like, "We're gonna go away for a while." Um, I feel like this is very obviously a developer direct game for the top of next year. Like, I think that would time out pretty well when you think about when Deathloop came out earlier in the gen, how long they've been spending, when they announced it, all that stuff. So I think Blade's closer. I don't think they had to reach for a showcase. That's why my prediction was 2027 is when we would see this game. But good to know it still has a pulse. Cog, were you worried at all that Blade was a dead man?
No, I actually wasn't worried either. I felt good about them. Digger has talked enough, and they
Yeah.
went in the shadows and stuff like that. And obviously, the Grubster has now confirmed that that it is. So yeah, not too worried. Hopefully it's 2027. That'd be great. So that would be add to another feather in the cap with an amazing year of NXL. With Clockworks, Fable, State of Decay 3, and you want to throw Blade on top of that. That's a massive year for first party as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, this is par for the course. I wasn't worried too much about them, honestly.
Mhm.
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I didn't think the game was canceled. I was thinking maybe we would see it by now, but I didn't think they were canceled or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, this team's pretty talented, so I it would seem weird to me if they couldn't figure out how to get Blade going. So, I wasn't worried about it getting canceled, I guess.
Right on. Okay, gents, we're on the same page. Yeah, nothing more to really be said here. Time for our final segment. What games we're playing. Boys, lots of games on the dock here. I always like to start with our esteemed guest,
Mm,
Brad,
sure.
host of Summons Line. Walk us through what you've been playing. Very curious about this one.
So, the only thing I've been playing really is Mina the Hollower, which is the new Yacht Club game. I haven't had a ton of time to play it because of Summer Game Fest and all that stuff, but I've put in I think I'm like 11 hours into the game just over since
Mm,
it's come out. And it is an excellent video game. I can understand the reasons for the high scores, like the tens it was getting. This is kind of a masterclass in game design, I feel like, and the amount of
mm,
variety in it has
mm.
been astounding to me. I've been
Nice.
you've played Shovel Knight, Maddie, so you kind of have an
Yeah.
understanding of like where they've come from. Where I'm like, whoa, they just kind of took it to the next level in terms of
Yeah.
introduced. One thing is like there's a main town that you go to. Basically, this is their version of Zelda. They said Shovel Knight is kind of their Mario and Mina is their Zelda, and that makes complete sense to me in terms of its design. Basically, how the game operates is you start off in this one area, and there are six, I'll just say, dungeons you need to go to. They're not all like dungeons necessarily. They're not all at one interior you go into like an actual dungeon, but you got to go to
Mm,
these six locales and light these beacons. Then you can kind of go to the final thing like Zelda. So it has that DNA in it. It is a top-down game. It looks like if you've played the Oracle Zelda games, it kind of resembles that. Of course, much more impressive from a technical standpoint, but it resembles that in a lot of ways. But it is a action adventure game where you're going around as a little mouse with your little weapons, killing guys, collecting loot. Tough economy, Maddie. This is one of my favorite things about the game, especially early on, is stuff is
right.
very expensive, and
Mm.
they are worthwhile upgrades. I hate in video games where the economy is blown out, where you're just rich all the time, or when you buy an item, it's not even that big of a deal or whatever. Here, if
Yeah, that latter
every
part. Yeah.
yeah, here every upgrade feels like substantial to me in a lot of ways. Multiple weapons to choose from. You get to choose from 3 at the start. I chose what is pretty much a whip because, of course, I'm picking the Castlevania-esque weapon. But there are other ones. There's like 2 daggers that are quick attacks. There's a giant hammer you can use where you can like roll around with it as well. There's like a coffin you get later on. I think that's like a shield also, but you can
Oh,
bash
that's
guys with
awesome.
it. I think there was one more. I don't think I used, but you got that, of course. The Yacht Club, the great writing, the funny characters is here as well. Some really cool secrets. One thing, Maddie, is there's an area in this town where it's like this bar, and the character Amina, her profession is a hollower, and there's a guy like a bouncer at the door, and he's like, "No hollowers allowed," kind of thing. You try to get in, he'll push you away. I found
Okay.
out the way to get into the bar is there's people walking through the town as all this is going on, and occasionally someone will walk into that bar. So what you have to do is you have this mechanic where you can burrow underground. It's a huge part of the game. You're going to be using the entire game. You can burrow underground for a
Right.
few seconds and it busts you out so you can avoid damage or like go under objects and all that kind of stuff. But I went under the person as they were walking and I just kind of stayed below them as they're walking across and I snuck through that way. I was like, that is really cool, clever game
Mm.
design that I didn't think about right away. That's the kind of shit I like, Maddie. When you get these
Yeah, yeah,
aha
yeah.
moments
Changing how
of
your
this
brain
puzzle,
works.
you're like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you're like learning the kind of rules of the game that's presenting you. Really
it's awesome.
fun. Mina is a challenging game, definitely. You're going to die a lot. When you die, you can lose your currency. So you got to keep that in mind as well. You can have some barriers to help make that a little less painful if you lose stuff with some relics you get. So don't fret too much. There's a ton of platforming in this game, though, a lot. So just be ready for that. You're going to fall in pits a lot, spikes, things trying to kill you constantly. A lot of great environmental design in the sense of visual, completely different areas, snow area, like desert area, really cool bayou area where there's like this giant fish swimming around trying to eat you up. That's the cool thing, Maddie. A lot of the these biomes you go to are separate areas, but they often introduce mechanics that are only in that kind of area. For instance, like I said, that swamp area has this fish swimming around that you have to kind of avoid as you're going through the level. One area has a nemesis enemy that just busts in and you can't kill it. You're forced to run from it. Another area
Hmm.
they like introduce this mechanic where you can like grind on rails like Sonic Adventure and stuff like that. So it's constantly throwing little surprises like that at me. And like I said, there's
Nice.
tons of little secrets, optional boss fights to find, really impactful loot.
Cool.
A lot of surprise moments. Like there's a shopkeeper, Maddie. He's like, I went to his shop. He is bigger than you can't see him. He's just too tall. He's out of the screen. I walked by the shop one time. His hand bust through the side of the building and pulled me in. And he's like, "Why don't you buy something right now?" And I was like,
Hey,
"Oh
yo,
shit!" Just
Oh,
a
that's
bunch of
wild.
little things like that are sprinkled throughout this game that keep you on your toes the whole way. So I think it's awesome. If you love like the old Zelda games or action adventure games in general, you love exploration, discovering stuff. I cannot recommend this game more. It's excellent.
awesome. I love that. Cog, what have you been
Yo.
playing this week?
So not a lot because obviously Summer Games Fest. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? So the usual that was on the rotation was probably Echo Generations 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, doing my playthrough, having so much fun, man. And the thing about it was like, well, let me take this from the approach of what I played at Summer Games Fest, and let me let you know what's going on there. The one that surprised me, or first of all, before I get into what surprised you, right, I want to shout out Sega. I want to got a chance to play Stranger Than Heaven.
Ooh.
This is gonna be controversial, I feel.
Oh,
This is
why is that?
because I came into it thinking, all right, it's RGG. This is gonna be Yakuza style, get ready for your beat 'em up and all that. And that's cool. And obviously they do the different time periods and stuff like that. And obviously we know the announcements, they got the Snoop and the Tupac and all that.
Mhm.
But I was
Yeah.
like, all right, let me see. So the demo pretty much they allowed us, it was short, but they allowed us 3 different parts. The first part was kind of like a beginner to get you acclimated. They wanted to be very honest and transparent about this is going to take you a while to get used to. This is don't come in there with a mindset thinking we're gonna put you in beginner mode in this specific area, this specific time period, and we want you to get a hold of how the game feels. So you kind of start off, It was like a locked off section of the town, very dense, a lot of NPCs, um, old school time period, and you start to walk around and you start to see like the typical gangs picking on someone kind of scenario, right? So you walk up to them and then it kind of starts the confrontation where you do the fighting. Now this is where it's going to get controversial. Like the game's control, like it's very slow and weighted. Everything feels with heft and deliberate. Left bumper was like basically left bumper left trigger represent your left side attacks, and right bumper, right trigger represents your right side attacks. And you had like, so the bumpers were kind of like the short, kind of jabbier kind of things, whereas the triggers were like really emphasize strong haymaker style moves. Also, you had weapons on the fly that you could swim. You could go barehead, you could go knife, you can go, what you call it, crowbar or whatever, right? But
the controls the same. Like you pick up the crowbar in your left hand, you have to use like the trigger or bumper. Like how'd that work?
It basically when you pick up the weapons, you didn't have to like it wasn't like tied to it. You would just attack from the left side if you press left bumper with said knife or with said crowbar, right? Where it got interesting now is defense. There is a block button. So and the longer you hold them, depending on the weapon you hold, like say for example, if I have the knife and I'm hunting block, it'll whittle my stamina down because you have your health bar and then you have your stamina bar. So it almost felt fighting game like when in terms of the encounters. Also, there is a deflect, but the deflect is more complex. Basically, if someone's coming at you from the right side, you have to deflect with the block of the thing from the appropriate side, or that they're doing, or the opposite side, I believe, of what they were doing. It's a learning curve. That's why they start you off with beginner first to kind of get you used to it. Now they had the block, they had the dodge, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like an Onimusha style dodge. If you time it right, you could get the jump on somebody. Same thing with the parry, the deflect. You could get them off balance. They want you to get in that. And I'm telling you right now, the difficulty of this game is no joke. You are not Kiryu taking on thousands of enemies, getting punched and a little bit. You take about a bunch of hits to the back of the head, and then enemies are coming at you from all sides. They're not waiting for their turn. You see what I'm saying? So that's the adjustment period. My only nitpick, the control I actually didn't mind. I felt it was weighted, it felt good. My only issue that I didn't find out in the demo was just switching back the perspective of highlighting. I didn't feel like I saw a targeting system. It could be an error on my part in the demo that I played. I just wished I could kind of focus on each individual person. Look, normally you press like that right trigger to lock on, and then you could kind of move around who you want to focus on. I didn't necessarily see it. It could be a mistake on my part that it's in the game and I didn't find it, but I just wanted to kind of let you know. Second encounter was an intermediate encounter, different time period, different protagonist, you know what I'm saying? And I was fighting tougher enemies. That felt good. The last part of the demo was a boss battle. Oh boy, bro. Out of like 15 people that go to play the Devil is Dead, nobody beat this boss.
Ooh.
Wow.
And it was tough, kind of got shirtless guy. He's got a sword, a katana, it was a skill check, testing your parrying, testing your ability to dodge. And then the only thing that I felt was a little cheap is when you did start to put work on him, he'd go down into a kneel down mechanic with his sword. And the devs had to tell me, like, I'm like, yo, like, I can't hit him in that face. He get like an automatic counter back on me. You kind of had to wait for him to do this animation, for him to drink a bottle, and then knock it out of hand so that his stamina doesn't get back up. It just took me a while. I will say this. This is going to be controversial. I like the game. I come from a fighting background. I think it's dope. I am worried about you Yakuza bros.
Oh, who like to just mash and beat people up in mass? Okay.
I don't feel the game is catering to that play style, and it's very deliberate. It's very heavy, and it's very weighted, and the enemies do a lot of damage. So it felt more realistic to me, which I liked. But we'll see how they pretty much nail it. So that was pretty much what it is of the demo. And then the other game I want to shout out was Alien Fireteam Elite 2. I didn't play the first one. I know about it. I know people love the Alien franchise. They said it was fun. This game surprised the hell out of me. First of all, graphic engine, it is clean. It's like Division and Left 4 Dead had a baby. So you've got the abilities and skill trees of a division on some level, not to that extent with deep skill trees, but just the abilities. Like I picked a medic class. One of my abilities was kind of throwing down this like medic healing area and stuff like that, helping out your class. I had also an ability to it was called overdrive to shoot reload faster when I'm fighting boss creatures. The aliens are relentless. They had the scents coming at you and stuff like that. I thought that was dope. They were tough enemies. They had elemental damage. I had a shotgun that was doing elemental damage, shocking up the scents, and it was a dope animation the way they looked. Also, you had different styles of alien, like the hunters. If you don't get a hold of them, one of them will terrorize you out throughout the whole level and disappear through shafts and vents. And I thought that was cool. There's multiple different classes also where it really won me over as far as the Marines that you pick. They also almost had, they call it like a specialist class where you could take bits and pieces, you have to earn it, of different other subclasses to try to make your own classes. Now there's limitations to that build. You can't just pick everything you want, but certain things I thought was dope. The animations was dope. And finally, 4-player co-op. They took the feedback from the first game, but just not 3. We've got the 4. The game looks, plays phenomenal. And for Alien fans, they're gonna love the lore. So yeah, shout out to Alien Fireteam Elite 2. I will be there. They sold me. I was like, I didn't really have this game on my radar. I'm not really the target audience. And then I'm like, damn, this is kind of fun, you know. And linear, about 10 levels, but a open style, a couple of paths here and there. And for people who love the Lord, they gonna like it. So yeah, those are my, surprise. That was the surprise one for me that I really ended up saying, yeah, I gotta be there day one.
Okay. There's another game on your list, sir.
There is. And it's time to go back home. Destiny 2, baby. The final moment of triumph. Had to jump in for a little bit on June 9th. And I'm not going to get too long with this, but it's just pretty much every quality of life update we've ever wanted, and then they had the nerve to throw in some cool exotic quests. The fan service is just astronomical, and it plays well. It feels good. We don't know what the fate of Destiny is going to be, but someone said it best. This is not going out with a bang. This was going out with a nuclear bomb. This is one of the better updates in the game, and we just hope it gets to live long. I will say, according to the Steam charts and the
People are speaking, bro.
engagement,
I think they'd be foolish to keep their plan. Yeah.
the fans have spoken. On the same day that Marathon dropped new content, I believe that Steam charts were about 150, almost to 200,000 concurrent users, whereas Marathon had about 15,000. And the fans are speaking. Is it enough to get Sony to budge? I don't know. I know the business is a whole different story, but they're making it very clear what everybody want. And we want Destiny 3. So I will be there. I've been rocking out all the rest of these quests. I just started. There's a ton of content to do. They brought back Sparrow Racing League. That was one of the most fun side quest optional things in Destiny we've been clamoring for. When you jump on your Sparrow and it's literally like a F-Zero racing and it's competitive. And bro, the skins, the love letter, the weapons, the exotics, the quality of life. Every weapon has a catalyst now. It's too much to number, but it's just wow. So I will be rocking out. I got my comfort food on the side during my main games, and I've been loving it. So yeah, I'm in a good place right now with Destiny. Hopefully we get some life in a sequel.
Yeah, I wonder where the numbers are going to be at in a month. For like
damn it, Brad.
Well, it's like, I mean, I think Destiny 3 would be cool. I had no problem with that whatsoever. But it's like people are showing up right now, but it's like
true.
That's gonna be expensive to make, real expensive, and upkeep. But I mean, I know people love Destiny, so I don't see why. I think it'd be cool if it happens. I'm not holding my breath. Is what I'm saying.
To make, even if it's expensive though, because it's just like I feel like it's a lock in for at least like a lot of people will show up. You get people like me who are at least interested, because it's like, all right, this is the thing I've been out on for a while. Can I get in with 3?
Right.
They had the chance to respond to all that fan feedback as well. Like I think obviously a lot of the Destiny base was out after Final Shape, to my understanding, right, Cog? Because it was like you were ready for 3. Like, okay, we'll see you at 3, guys. Like, yeah, you guys keep messing around with that. We'll see you at 3. So like, I don't know, any money they spend, I'm not saying, oh, they're gonna make it back. I don't know the financials through and through, but like any money they spend, I feel like it's more fruitful to spend it on a Destiny 3 and making that rather than a Marathon. But what do I know?
Yeah, Marathon's I mean, at least already made, I guess, but yeah. I mean, Marathon is definitely not going to be as successful as Destiny 3. There's no way, not even close.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're getting Destiny 3, though, it's going to be like a while still.
Am I understanding this
Oh
correctly?
yeah.
So they dropped season 2 content for
Mhm.
Marathon the same day as Destiny 2. That's just stupid. Why would you do that?
No, wait. Marathon was, I think, like
It's the week
it was
before.
last week. Yeah, it
Okay,
was
Yeah,
last
the
alright,
week.
week
then
before. The week before.
alright, okay.
Correct.
It
I was
was the
gonna
day
say
State
there's
of Play came out. I remember.
okay,
Yes.
thank
Correct.
you. Okay, 'cause I was gonna say there's no
No, yeah, it
way,
wasn't the
like
same
Yeah.
day.
okay, so Marathon got the head start.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, Marathon got to, I think it was like at 30 or 40 maybe
30
when that
40.
thing dropped. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's like probably 15 now or something like that. I can look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least on
not
Steam.
enough.
Mhm.
No, of
That's their
course not
main
enough.
platform for Marathon,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's at
Shame. Not
19
that I
or
want it to fail,
16K.
it's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game
Yeah.
fucking slaps, but
Oh yeah.
it just doesn't have the mass appeal as Marathon.
Mhm.
Or I'm sorry, as Destiny.
I blame the genre. I do.
Mhm.
I'll always point my finger at the genre. I don't think extraction shooters are I don't think you want more than one. I think you get one, like a
Yeah, you
R-rated,
could
like you
get
get
a couple maybe. I mean, that's that's the thing with the space in general, I feel like.
yeah.
And Destiny's
We'll see what
competitive
happens
with.
with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's doing it right with DMZ, so
Yes, I mean they've tried
Yeah.
stuff like that before, and it's
I don't
like,
know, Brad, they ended the show with it. It's gotta be
yeah,
pretty good,
that's
right?
true. I mean, I couldn't give a fuck less about Call of Duty. That's just the way it is for me.
Can you believe that they use the same talking point 2 years in a row? Can I just get that off my chest? The same, like, they've been with us since the beginning. I'm like, "Oh, what studio do they own?" It's like, Brother, they Call of Duty and you guys have not been hugging dicks since the beginning. Like, please stop this." Like, they at least choose different talking points. I'm boycotting DMZ. I will not be there.
Boycott? Oh man. No, you talking real about that the relationship. It is kind of funny now that they own them, but trying to act
Like, we
like
get it.
that.
You guys bought them, but, like, stop. This is knock it off, bro.
Knock it off. That's
Um,
weird.
for me, I've been playing
Mhm.
2 very different video games. I'll save my bloviating for later, but I've been playing Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Mm.
This is my first time ever playing Spyro.
I've
I
never
don't know
played
if
through them either.
yeah.
Talk to me, be you.
Yeah, like, I saw the Spyro trailers doing, like, 5+, like, it was, like, the most watched trailer after this week. I'm like, "Okay. This is pretty fucking intense, man." Like, these fans are hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's, like, crying, "I can't believe it's back." I've never looked at Spyro and been like, "Yeah, okay." I just never sincerely played it. Never had interest, never had a desire. But I have Reignited Trilogy in my collection because I was like, one day I do want to play this. So when the game got announced, I was like, all right, this is Toys for Bob, who did the Reignited Trilogy. They're doing this new game. Like, let me see what's going on here. So I've been playing the first one. I'm basically done with it. And like, I kind of get it so far. I've heard the second one is where it's like, oh, it's really, really cool. Like, you get skateboard or something like that, or you get to do tricks. I don't know. Again, I know nothing about this. So my level of lack of knowing anything about Spyro goes down to like literally, oh, there are hub worlds, and it's kind of like Sly 1. Like in Sly 1, you had like these hub spaces and they all had little missions in them that you go and do. And you get like all the keys and whatnot, and that would lead to like a final mission. Like Spyro 1 is framed like that. So there's missions where you're flying, and there's missions where you're jumping and fighting, and the collectibles are so well hidden. Like, I've spent a lot of time in some of these levels as someone who has no idea where anything is. Like, they really, like, it's old school shit. Like, they'll tuck them in the highest level of the back of the beginning of the level, like where you just never would look. And sometimes it is really like finding a needle in a haystack. I had one gem left. I'm like, what enemy has this, or what part of the level did I miss that has this? And I'm just obsessed with 100%ing all the levels, man. So I've been like really going for it. I have a little bit of trouble with the all-in-one challenges on some of these levels, but so far I've 100%ed every level in the game, which has been fun. So yeah, it's been a fun little
Cool.
3D platformer. Been really liking it.
Mhm.
The other game I've been playing,
Uh-oh.
Dude,
you
I
know,
can't believe it's taken this long.
Oh, let's go.
I've been getting harassed by my friend group for this one because they're just like, "Bro, you talk so much about it. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?"
you're
And
like, this is the best fucking Souls
yeah,
like.
Uh-huh.
I am historically terrible with DLC though. That's my only excuse.
Okay.
It's like the one thing I have yet to work on in my gaming habits, but I'm trying to take it one thing at a time. I'm trying to I decluttered. I have a massive pile of games next to me, so I decluttered. I'm doing one game at a time. Next step is finally hitting like DLC. So I guess I'm working on it here, but not like with intent. Uh Lies of P
Mhm.
Overture.
Let's go.
It's so good to be back in the world of Crot. Let me tell
Ah.
you what, man. So as I mentioned after 007 First Light, I was like, I have this little lull now before my next big game, which is Adventures of Ellie. It's time to hit some backlog stuff, right? And so I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, it's time. Lies of P Overture, you are mine. Because the thing I was worried about, and it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't finish it in time anyway. The thing I was worried about Lies of P Overture and not finishing is I'm like, I don't want in case anything happened in Overture that plays into the sequel, I want to fully comprehend if they announce the sequel at Summer Games Fest or anything like that. I want to fully understand what's going on because I glow about the Lies of P story. Fortunately, I am safe for a little bit longer. Lies of P
Okay.
Complete Edition though on Switch 2 must be getting close. Within the next year, I think we're going to get that announcement. Now, this is a DLC that functions as a prequel. You have to get to the 9th chapter in the game, and then you have to go to a specific location. You basically travel back in time during the fall of Krot. And it starts off in the Krot Zoo.
Mhm.
So you're
Okay.
fighting the most interesting enemies like alligators and bears and monkeys and all this stuff that's just like kangaroos that are deformed. It's awesome. You know,
Mm.
when you're so used to fighting all the puppets and all the robots. This is a I mean, it's so impressive how you could tell that Liza P wasn't just a one-off. That's my biggest takeaway so far early on. I finished, I'll just say I finished a certain boss when I last played that starts with the letter M.
Mhm.
And I'm just so impressed that they have not skipped a beat. Like this DLC is just, yep, like we get it more like we have it completely on lockdown here. Um, And so I am just so happy about that because it just increased all the confidence I already had in whatever they do
Mm.
next. That this Lies of P sequel is going to be like some of the most god tier shit I play the year it comes out. But Overture has been like great from a story angle. Again, just kind of exploring the fall of Krot and like why exactly you were able to time travel, what's going on there, and like what you see. A lot of the story is I thought Lies of P, like the base game, had a little bit more deliberate storytelling. A lot of this is more location exploring. You know, if you pay attention to the readables, you can see how they're building the narrative and then it's executed upon in like the bosses where like one of the big bosses from the early part of the DLC, there is no real build up in the traditional sense. Like you see them multiple times or it's kind of hinted like it's more just you read about them a lot and you see like what they've been doing and you hear like they added audio diaries. They added a ton of new weapons, which are sick.
Mm.
I love snow in video games and like this whole opening stretch of the game is in the snow. It's just
Bio
fucking awesome.
change. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just fucking awesome. Like it's just they're so good at this. So $30 well spent thus far. I'll have many more thoughts once I have wrapped this one up. But the goal is to have this and Spyro done before the Adventures of Elliot lands,
Mhm.
which is I think the 19th or
Yeah,
18th or
that
something like
sounds
that.
right.
Mhm.
So very much looking forward to that. But good to finally get a couple of these done on my backlog. You know,
Nice.
franchises that I've long ignored.
What
Nice.
weapon are you using in Liza P?
I'm still what is it called? I'm still using the katana that if you hold the strong attack, he like twirls it and
Oh,
you can
okay.
like
The counter
style
thing.
parry them.
Yeah.
I will say this, dude. I'm not gonna brag or anything.
Uh-uh.
I'm just saying that I didn't have to use baby mode and I've been fucking working
Oh,
this
yeah, I forgot
DLC,
they
dude.
added that.
Yeah.
I wish
I'm
they
just
kinda didn't
saying,
add that. I wish they just kinda stick to
yeah.
their guns.
Yeah, I get it. I just play it as intended.
Mm.
It makes me wonder what they're gonna do for their sequel. Like if they want to launch the sequel as is and then add it after, I'm like, I don't care.
Mhm.
Mm.
But
It'll probably be multiple difficulties at the start.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying, man, getting through this thing pretty unscathed. I don't know. I just might be let me solo her for Liza P.
Whoa.
You know? I'm pretty nice at this.
Alright.
Right.
I'll flex a little bit. I was feeling
Boy,
pretty good about my
boy
gamer
flexing.
skills,
Gassing
I
himself up.
usually keep
Okay.
to
Yeah, he
myself, but I
definitely
was like,
gassing himself.
but as I was streaming it to my friends on Discord who were like, "Oh, get ready, dude. She's tough." And I like second try, they're like, "Damn, bro." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Damn, bro is right." Like, you know what? Yeah. I usually don't take these type of compliments and run with them, but you know what? Yeah, I actually am pretty fucking nice. I haven't lost a bet.
Talk
So,
your talk, Manny.
yeah. So I just want to throw that out there for the audience, just so you know.
Just so you know,
Just so
I'm
you
one of
guys
them.
know. Just let him know.
Just so
I'm
you're
him.
aware. Yeah. I still got it.
Yes, sir.
All right. I know I said this was our last segment. I wasn't cooking there. We have this last bit of news, and then we're out of here.
No doubt.
Is Xbox trying to cut hardware prices? We kind of talked about this a little bit already, but we had a conversation between Matthew Ball and the game business, and also Asha Sharma with Fortune. I'll read both quotes because what they're saying is indicating that they're exploring radically different models for the console, and I want to talk to you guys about what exactly you think that might be. So let's read this article from The Verge. Quote, we are thinking or working very hard to rethink everything that we can about Helix, which is a console we are committed to shipping. And we are cognizant of the ways in which we need to change as a company to make sure it is affordable, to make sure that it is flexible, end quote, said Ball in an interview with the game business. Microsoft's former Xbox president, Sarah Bond, described it as its next-gen Xbox console as a very premium, very high-end curated experience. This was back in October before industry-wide constraints on memory and storage really started to hit. Sharma is now looking for ways to navigate the Ramageddon crisis with a focus on affordability and current and next-gen Xbox consoles. Quote, on hardware, we are in a crisis right now. The entire industry is, said Sharma in an interview with Fortune. While the cost of memory and storage keep rising, Xbox is looking at things different ways to combat the underlying price pressures. She says we must think about ways to think about the cost of construction of a console. We must think about how we create different plans so more people can participate in the console. We must think about partnerships that will allow us to have better distribution and reach, end quote. Microsoft is now looking at new business models for consoles and, quote, what is needed for console rather than just the most premium high performance console in the world, end quote, according to Sharma. Quote, I think we've reached a point where it will be hard to imagine that mass audiences can afford thousands of dollars to spend on a console generation. And so I think we will start to see radically different business models that we never expected to start to come into orbit later this year, end quote. So, gentlemen, in reading this, where do you think Xbox goes with more radical, more flexible hardware plans? I know we touched on this a little bit, but to round us out here, what is your guess of sort of what that plan could be? Cloud gaming option. We know they partnered with Discord, all access. But when they say radical, and Asha really emphasized in her talk with Fortune, I don't know if you guys watched the full thing, but that this would be rather surprising, very out there, very different. Are we thinking taking the storage out of the console and having you buy it separately? Like we're going back to the memory card days. Like how radical do we get with this? I'm curious if anything, what jumps to mind? Because I think any theory is a good theory right now. Any talking point, any conversation is a good talking point here. So Cog, want to know what corporate Cog's thinking? You're in the building. You're talking to your Lord and Savior, Asha Sharma, and she's just like, man, Cog, we gotta cut these prices.
Right.
Your suggestion.
Whew. Well, in the past, subsidy was always the way to go, right? In the past, where as the generation went on, the hardware would subsequently get cheaper, and you get more people to adopt. But we are not living in that timeline, and the RAM crisis we're in at the height of it. So that's not really an option to me. So now it becomes when I parse what she's saying, it's a direct contrast to Phil's model of we need the most powerful box, right?
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we don't need the most powerful box. We need more people to get into. So when I see that, then part of me thinks SKUs again. Obviously one of the models with the Series X and S consoles with the the lower end Series S model where you try to give a comfortable entry point into the model. The other thing that she said that I'm quoting that I'm highlighting is that we've got to be radical right? In terms of the amount, of how to get people radically different business model. So when that screams to me like you're trying to break the wheel. And if you break the wheel from a hardware standpoint, is that where we see, you know, different versions of the Series X and the Project Helix with third party publishers, right? Where you say, hey, here's the, I don't know, Samsung model. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, you could get in and it'll be at a lower entry point and the feature set may be less, or you don't have the ability with Helix to remember Helix's strength. And what we all championed was like, yo, my library and all my digital purchases come with me. I have the ecosystem. I'm in excellent, but that's reserved for the hardcore guy who wants to stay in the ecosystem. But maybe to a casual, it's like, hey, if you get the Samsung Helix X or S, right, for $600, again, speculating, I don't know what they're going to do, right? Will this get you in as an entry point because it's cheaper? But caveat, you don't have backward compatibility. You don't have, you could just do one said thing with the hardware. Maybe that's when you say radically different business model from a hardware standpoint, you opening up a whole different can of worms. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. I'm just saying you're looking at entry point because the part I will give her is that like my depression right now as a console gamer is like, who are these consoles for? It doesn't matter who it is, from Xbox, PlayStation. Who's spending this money to be like, yes, like what kid growing up now with their yeah, mom, $700, $750. I want that PS5 Pro. Yeah, mom, give me six. What? Like that's not even Nintendo is not immune, right? With the price increases and stuff like that. We're used to Nintendo coming in at smooth $299 a nice, now they're $500 basically. This is a different time frame. So again, I don't envy them because I don't know how you get around this in the current RAM climate. But remember what I told you. She's gonna do something that is gonna have people go, either I don't know about that one. And they're gonna commit to it. And that's going to be the new wave for them. And this is just something I've speculated with hardware. Maybe that's it. And they just try to hit you with a bunch of SKUs. I don't know. I really don't know how they're going to solve this one because the RAM crisis is just not going away right now. So, yeah, we'll see.
Brad, you're there with Asha, the Xbox mom. You're like, Brad, these prices gotta go down one way or the other. God damn it.
Yeah.
Or you're fired.
Well,
what do you do?
First of all, I think Sony's going to do this as well. I'd be like, no disk drive whatsoever. Don't even bother. You're done with that. Over. You could be no controller comes with the console or whatever. You can use your old controllers, but we ain't packing that shit in, so you got to do it on your own. If there was a Series S and X equivalent for Helix, maybe just do the Series S version. There is no Series or Series X version. You let the OEMs do that if they want, I guess, is kind of the thing. I think OEMs is probably going to be the biggest thing. We've kind of like
you lose him?
Did we lose Brad? Yeah, we lost Brad's mic for a second.
Hang on.
All right, I heard you.
Yeah. Wait, am I back?
Yes, you're back. Okay. You're back.
Maybe my wire came loose. Anyways.
Yep.
Saying OEMs, definitely going to have that. Maybe that'll be the premium thing going forward. Maybe they'll focus more on just streaming, some sort of thing to get people into streaming. They had like did they have like a stick they were promoting at one point? I'm trying to remember. That was just like focused.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe the dongle. Yeah,
maybe
the dongle stuff,
along those lines. I don't know. But I definitely think the days of the most powerful console are kind of not the priority for them right now. Maybe they're going to have some sort of model of Game Pass they're going to launch later on that does include ads, just a cheaper version like many other streaming services. So maybe they'll do that. I don't know. But I think the main thing is going to be other people making the consoles that play it. And like Cog was saying, I think like cheaper version, no backwards compatible games or something like that for some reason. I don't know. I think that could definitely be a thing, but I don't know, dude. It feels like things are changing every week, so I don't really know what to think, I guess.
Yeah.
what our impressions of something are kind of change every week. Like what I thought
Yeah.
Helix was gonna be today, I'm like, oh, maybe it's not gonna be like that. I don't know. Hard to say in these times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cloud gaming's where my head jumps to. I'm just thinking about like all you need is a controller. It's very Xbox Play Anywhere, Project Latitude stuff though. That's the thing I'm fighting with. Is I'm like, okay, you're about protecting your brand, protecting the console, so you're not giving over, the Xbox OS to Asus to make their own version of Xbox because maybe they have a deal and they can make it cheaper. Maybe you do. That would certainly qualify as radical.
Right.
Um, Netflix comes to mind as well. Like we heard that Netflix and Asha were having a little chit chat. You have this new Game Pass Starter Edition. There's something there. Um, but it seems like this is central around the existing console. And I think the thing that we're really missing nowadays is, I mean, it's what we had back then. Like, I mean, as recently as a Switch Lite, very small form factor, kid friendly, of course, but like small form factor, doesn't have all the technical bells and whistles. Not that the Switch one had many, but this like was even further dialed back. But it was for the audience that really didn't give a fuck about that stuff. Kid doesn't know what 30 frames is. Like, they're just like, give me my game. I do think there's a lot of people who feel that way. I know like us in the hardcore space, like we care about performance and fidelity, and I think that stuff matters. But I'm not saying throw that all in the trash, but I do think if you can get a cheaper console out there where people can reliably buy one while being able to enjoy games, I think that is something that is very much more valuable to just being able to find entertainment. I think even down to like the simplest level of like the Game Boy Advanced Micro, like this little toy, basically. The screen was the size of your thumb, barely. But it was just very slip into your pocket. Just like, you took the Game Boy Advance, which was already small, turned it into SP, which was a square, and then even smaller with the micro. They just wanted to see how small they could get that tech. And it became cheaper too. So I just think, I don't know. I sound a little crazy because I'm like, oh, well, you're using the relatively same parts and you're still spending money on hardware, which is still grossly inflated. So how do you adjust what already exists?
Right.
Is radical just saying, fuck it, let them in, like drop the price significantly and just get rid of the stock? I don't know. Um, it's like all to me, in my brain, I'm like, these are all terrible ideas.
Right.
Because I'm like, what do you do in this climate? Because my theory has always been like, well, if there is a solution to all of this, I feel like someone else would have already done it, especially Nintendo.
Mm.
I don't think Nintendo would have budged if there was a very obviously, even though Nintendo's budge is nothing compared to everyone else. I just don't think for how, like, again, Microsoft has all these different divisions in their business that make a lot of money. So if their console sells like shit, they still can sell a lot of software because they're a software company. But like Nintendo is strictly video games, so they're worth monitoring in a crisis like this because it's like, okay, they're moving too, they're adjusting too. They granted gave you 5 months heads up, and it's a smaller price bump compared to the rest. Like you look at Steam Deck, you're like, good lord, that's eye watering. um, but like the Switch is nothing by comparison. Switch looks great now. It's like, oh, 550.
I know,
Fuck
right?
it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Easy. It's still in that affordable range compared to where hardware's been. So if they're reacting like that, I'm like, what the hell has Xbox figured out that they could do? So I imagine when they say radical, I don't know if that equals good. I'm trying to think of positive use cases, but I don't know, because it seems like like, are you guys just going screaming back to Project Latitude? This is an Xbox, just without saying it, because that's the only way I can think of getting it cheaper. Putting it in on places that could run Xbox games.
Right.
But obviously that's a campaign that Asha destroyed, like first things first. So I don't know. I'm like spinning in circles here. It's tough to think your way out of that box, and I certainly don't envy them.
Yeah, it's a tough one because they, like I said, it's the climate. It's also not going against what you initially said, which is that this is an Xbox, right? Because part of it's like, we're killing that campaign. It doesn't represent Xbox, but if you're doing something radically different, then maybe you're going to have to include other places for Xbox to exist. So that's that. The other thing is, I think it was alluded to in the Verge article that I forgot to mention was, storage. Storage is an option, and if you're offering Helix, let's say at a 2 terabyte or whatever it is, 1 terabyte, maybe you do the SKUs how, like, Steam Deck and other ways, like this is the 512 model, because we do admit, storage does cost a lot. This RAM stuff and storage, that does will take a little bit of the heat off. But I'm also thinking she seems to be very Game Pass, analyzing as far as the structure of it, right? We always talked
Yeah.
about that ad-free tier. We always talk about, a la carte Game Pass. That in conjunction with maybe you throw this as a sweetener in terms
Yeah, the Game
of,
Pass stuff, I
you know what I
forgot
mean?
about
Like
Yeah.
launching, with a console and say, okay, this is you get Game Pass, at a base level or sub level with this thing. They're going to have to be extremely creative. And again, like you said, man, I don't envy them because these are very difficult challenges that the entire industry is facing, not just them. And yes, you're big bad Microsoft, and yes, you have all this financial backing, but you're in the business of making money, not losing money. And consoles right now are, sad to say, they're sunken costs in a way. Like you're doing it to get the investment, to hope people get there, and then they buy the software. We'll eat off of you with the software. Things have radically changed. Thus, yeah, there's going to be some form of a radical reaction, and we all just waiting to see what they do.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, that's all we've got for the show here. Lots going on in the world of Xbox. Lots of good, lots of question marks, and it seems like in only a few short weeks we'll get the answer. Question is, will Brad be joining us when we finally get those answers early July? I think he should. I think we should keep pressing it because we need to press the best Xbox out of
I
them.
agree.
If Asha cannot defeat the curse, then that is her problem, not ours.
I'm doing my seance. This is part of the healing, right? You know what I'm saying? A good Brad here.
Yeah.
We get through it, but there was a cost.
Yeah.
So now we gotta keep we gotta eventually break this thing. It's cursed at one point.
Games are here. We got exclusives. Asha's a very likable person. Seeing a lot of good signs. So, how bad are some layoffs at the end of the day? Am I right?
No big deal.
How bad is some studio closures?
How bad's a studio closure? How bad could it get?
The price you pay.
Yeah. Come on now. Brad, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
in all
of
seriousness. We
course.
love having you here. We appreciate you. It's always fun. And yeah, dude, just always awesome chatting.
Yeah. I mean, I have you guys on my show all the time, so gotta pay it forward, man.
Always. Tog, as always, excellent doing this with you, sir.
Love you, brother.
What was the hashtag we are doing this week?
I mean, it's got to be Brad involved with this on some level.
Yeah, that's
some
hashtag Green Reaper or hashtag
yeah,
curse.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Hashtag DD Green Reaper. That's who came up with that? This show's the first I heard.
Someone called me that on like Twitter, I think, or something. I can't remember.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got this deep into the episode. Whether you're in the Patreon comments, YouTube comments, you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag DD Green Reaper. We'd love to hear from you. Get your thoughts on the episode. We appreciate you bearing with us as we did some professional podcasting earlier in the episode, just navigating the layoff news breaking. Gentlemen, it's been excellent doing this. We're looking forward to next week where who knows what the hell will happen. We're back in that state of mind. But until then, everyone, we'll see you with episode 285 of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.